A young rebel must join forces with some misfits to steal the plans of a deadly space station.
Welcome to the Walt Vault with Andre,
Michelle,
Emily,
And Luis.
We are a family-friendly podcast where each and every week we watch and review a different Disney movie. Be sure to subscribe on all podcast platforms and YouTube. Enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to the Walt Vault, episode 135.
135.
135.
135, we said.
We have new...
Dirty turty. Oh, what's that? Go ahead.
Well, it's not your dirty turty till
Not
a month
yet.
from now.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, not yet. Dirty.
You're not dirty turty yet.
It's Michelle's
28.
dirty 28.
I just want it to be next year so I can be like 29. But
I
no,
really
I'm
enjoyed that
28.
last year.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I bet you do.
It's been happening
29.
all year long.
Nah, I'm 28. 20 schmate. 28.
Happy birthday, Michelle.
We got new nubbins.
We got new nubbins on the mics. This is
This
very...
has a totally different smell, and I don't know if I'm cool with it. Like my other one, I complained that it smelled bad, but this one smells too new.
smells new.
It does smell new.
Gotta get it like, you know,
Can you hear me sniffing,
a
listeners?
couple weeks worth of hot breath in there. And that'll kind of reduce that newness
smells
smell.
like-
Nice and
It
snug.
smells weird, new, but also like your house. And your house doesn't smell bad, but like the new in
This
your
doesn't smell like our house. It smells like the inside of a plastic bag.
Yeah, it smells like plastic.
Smells like your
Does
house.
my house smell like plastic? Probably.
No.
It's all right. I got some schmincy up in there.
Y'all.
This week, we
Mimosas,
are
that's the problem.
we are talking about the 2016 live-action Disney Lucasfilm film, Rogue One,
The first Star Wars movie that is not part of a trilogy.
a Star Wars story.
I'm just gonna call it Rogue One.
It's called a Star Wars story.
It's called
Rogue
Rogue
One,
One,
a Star Wars story.
a
oh
Star
yeah, we
Wars
talked
story.
about. I don't like that. It could just be called Rogue One.
They
Like it's
right.
Rogue.
It could just be called Rogue One, but the
Is
same
it because
year
all of them have a Star Wars story in it.
Yeah, because that way
The-
you're not confusing it. It's like
with the saga
Star
movies.
Wars episode, blah blah blah.
Right,
You know,
the episodics, and then also it's supposed to be like a part of an anthology series. Like that's what
Star
all
Wars
of
stories.
the extra stories
Han
are supposed to
Solo,
be.
a Star Wars story. I don't know what they're doing next.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're continuing with it, but that was the
Well, they should
intent.
do a Donald Glover, a Star Wars story.
Lando,
I would like it.
how he gets to the city in the clouds.
Lando, a Star Wars story.
But
No, Donald Glover,
the
a Star
same
Wars story.
the same year that this was coming out,
Lando in the morning.
Mission
At night.
Mission Impossible 4 Rogue Protocol was coming out, so they wanted to separate their marketing with
Yes, that
from-
makes
from
sense.
that.
All
Yeah.
right.
The longest names of movies.
two
ever.
rogues.
I'm just gonna, for the purpose of recording this podcast, it will now be referred to as Rogue One.
Okay. I think
And that
we
is
can,
it.
think we can swing
So
that.
let's go ahead and go into our first impressions. Andre.
Hold on, before we do that,
Yes.
not Andre. Michelle chose this movie because she prefaced.
I
with
like it.
It was her favorite Star Wars story. Star Wars story. Oh my god, Star Wars movie.
Yes, it is my favorite Star Wars movie.
Okay.
And that remains.
And I think it still remains, correct?
Okay, go ahead.
Although I'll give my first impression first then. So, although the first half is very slow and kind of boring, the last hour is pure cinematic marvelousness.
Marvelousness.
Oh, Marvel.
This
Star
ain't
Wars
even a Marvel movie.
cinema
It's got all this
at
marvelousness.
its best, the last hour, and that's why it's my favorite movie. I could just watch the last 55 minutes all day,
all dirt.
and I still like it. That's my first impression.
Okay.
Okay.
Andre.
My first impression. So when this was first coming out, it was like scary for me because this was a Star Wars movie that wasn't like all the other Star Wars movies. It was a new type of prequel. It was a new type of director. There was going to be no John Williams music. I had a lot of trepidations going into it for the first time, but then I came out of that first viewing in 2016. Shocked and awed. I was very impressed by this movie.
It is weird for me watching you talking to a green nubbin.
My nubbin is green.
That's the time stone.
That's
nubbin.
right. My time.
And Luke Skywalker's
my Luke
stick
lightsaber
my Luke
nubbin.
lightsaber nubbin. There's no. Well, I was about to say there's no lightsabers in this movie, but that is incorrect.
There is a lightsaber.
There's no green lightsabers in this movie.
No green ones.
Yeah. So upon this viewing, this movie is still pretty spectacular. I like it a lot, especially since we had just watched all the other prequels, episodes 1 through 3.
It was perfect timing.
And this one really takes the cake in terms of it being a prequel to the original trilogy. I think that this movie is pretty masterfully done, almost all the way around.
And we started episode 4 right after, and it like very seamlessly just went, and I was like, whoa, like they did good, like making it like scene to the next movie.
Indeed.
Yeah, I dig it. Luis, first impression of Rogue One?
It's a good movie. I've always liked it. We watched it maybe once or twice, or once.
This was probably my second time, I think. So we watched it once.
Yeah, once, and I liked it from the get-go.
And I want to say we watched it in theaters.
I think you did.
I think we did.
Can't remember if I did.
It was pre-quid.
I think I want to say you
Prequels.
did because I think we saw it and we were like, you guys should go.
Yeah, we did watch it in
Right.
theaters.
I thought it was a good movie.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Okay,
Last
that
55
was-
minutes is
thank you
great,
for
right?
that. Thank you for that. In depth. Okay. you're
He
just
likes
staring off
he
into
likes
space.
the last 55 minutes, right?
I mean, I like the whole movie.
Yeah.
Movie.
It doesn't. I don't know. I'm weird. I can't remember ever. And now that I think about it, I can't even remember any movie where I've been like, "Oh, the last X amount," or just like the best of all time.
I think this is the
So-
only movie I've ever felt like that about.
Oh,
Like if I was like, oh, I want to watch Rogue One, I could just start it at Scarif and be like, okay.
yeah. I can't. I don't know where. What
Yeah, I
what
don't
movie
have
I would think
too
about
many
like
movies like
Whatever.
that.
That's a me problem then.
Oh,
Emily,
sorry.
first
But
impression.
it was good. It was a great movie for sure.
Good.
So-
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
So we kind of thank you, Luis. Oh my gosh, we had a freaking picture on the wall that is extremely askew. And
I didn't even
literally
notice,
looked
though.
Up and saw it. Yes, it looks great. I looked up and saw it, and he was fixing it as I saw it. Thank you. Good
Perfect.
Lord, what happened? Anyhow,
Husband senses went off.
yes, his Spidey
It was all that jumping Adeline was doing earlier.
For sure.
She skewed the picture.
Bouncing
So,
house.
little history on last. Okay, so it is Saturday today. Last
Mhm.
Saturday,
Yeah.
we watched Rogue One at
Uh-huh.
your house.
Right.
And
Yeah.
we watched most of it.
Most of it, like half of it, I would say.
Yeah. And then we came home the next day, watched the rest. And I told Luis, you know what? We just need to go back. We just need to do it.
Have to go back.
I know that they're not that great. Whatever. We went back. And same thing you guys did. We watched 1, 2, and 3. And then we rewatched
Rogue
One
after?
again.
Oh, nice.
And it is a good transition. So to me, that makes it a better movie now that I have rewatched the rest
you
of
have
it.
some context.
Because I was going to say I like the movie, but it's hard for me to say it's a good movie overall because I don't like the first half.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
because the first half is pretty damn boring, that makes me think, like, is it that good of a movie then? Because, yes, the end is great.
So I think,
But, like, overall,
I agree with you because when I saw it in the movie theater, I remember being bored and being like, this movie's kind of boring. And then it just didn't pick up at all for me. It kind of picked up a little bit. But then once it got to that point, I was like, this is literally the best movie ever. It blew my mind so much that I think that's why I say this is my favorite Star Wars movie. But I'm thinking,
it has a really good...
but I'm thinking specifically the last hour.
Sure.
So when everyone's like, Rogue One's your favorite, I'm like, oh yeah. But I'm like honestly talking about the last half of the movie. And I was telling Andre this, like, man, I wish the movie was more cohesive so that I could really be like, I love this movie. But Andre was saying that it's because a couple different directors came on and off this project. Like, it got...
So
what happened? I told him to research it.
it wasn't as drastic as I had originally thought.
Okay.
'Cause I think I was conflating this movie with Solo, which had a couple of directors. They got fired off, and then they hired on a new guy. But for this movie, Gareth Edwards directed this film. He had worked on the newest Godzilla, and so he got hired on for this. And he directed the whole movie. He did everything, and then they had some planned reshoots that they were going to do. But Gareth Edwards didn't direct the reshoots. It was directed by one of the writers, Mr. Tony Gilroy. He was an uncredited writer on the film. He was hired to redirect the reshoots and rework aspects of the film, earning him a screenwriting credit. And one of those aspects, excuse me, I'm very burpy from this mimosa.
Oh my.
One of those aspects was that in the original version of the script, everyone lives at the end of this movie. Not only do they all live, but the movie ends with a wedding, presumably between Cassian and Jin. Right.
I would hate that.
Which is interesting. And the reason that the writer wrote it like that was because, well, it's Disney. I mean, they're not going to let us kill everybody off.
But the reason I'm happy they didn't do that is because we never see them again. And thinking about this goes into episode 4, 5, 6. Then where are they?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, so to me, it was like they all died.
Like all the rebels know each other, so
that made sense, and that made it more intense to me. Like they had to do what had to be done.
Yes.
They had to do it, or else episode 4, 5, 6 would not have worked. So I think that's why I'm like, oh, it like kind of hits me in my gut, where I'm like, yeah, I like this movie.
Right.
Yeah, that would not have flown with me.
It's crazy because like the whole concept.
With a wedding.
Yeah, they weren't even that into each other. It was more of a like.
I didn't even think they were into each other.
No,
at all.
Like they hug each other at the end, but that was because it was like, all right.
I'm gonna hug the thing next to me.
Yeah, the same thing. I got that vibe of like, all right, we did what needed to be done.
Yeah,
now we
like,
can
it happened,
go.
y'all.
Yeah, that's
I'm
weird.
trying to find.
I don't like that.
That's interesting.
So the whole conceit of this movie comes from basically the middle paragraph of the crawl in episode 4. The crawl specifically, you start episode 4 and it says, during the battle, rebel spies managed to steal secret plans to the Empire's ultimate weapon, the Death Star, an armored space station with enough power to destroy an entire planet. And from that one paragraph, they made this
How did they
whole
steal
movie.
the plans?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How did they steal the plans?
And it was interesting because we went right into episode 4 after that, and Andre always reads the crawl. I'm sure you saw my Instagram story. He always reads the crawl out loud, and I was like, oh, that was the Rogue One movie we just watched.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I found that to be very cool.
Interesting, very interesting. And if you watch if you watch Rogue and then you watch the first 10 minutes of episode 4, it is so seamlessly like shoo, it like goes right into it. It's crazy.
Yeah, they made a very good effort to match the style of this movie to the original trilogy.
They tried, yeah.
Yes, because it takes place basically a week before episode 4 begins.
Speaking of crawls, though, this movie does not have a crawl.
This movie is crawlless.
I think Luis, when we were watching it, he was like, "Where's the
where's the snail trail? Is that what you call
snail
it?
trail? Where's the snail trail?" I was like, "Oh, there's no crawl. This isn't a trilogy movie. It's not a thing."
I have a thing I would like to start.
Okay.
Or if you're okay with it.
Go for it.
And we don't have to do it on every movie, but for me personally, I think it's important for this movie because it kind of spearheads my feelings on the movie.
Okay.
I would like us to think favorite character, least favorite character, favorite scene.
Well, in that
I'm
case,
done already.
Got
it
on
lock.
Let me bring
but
up.
I'm saying scene, and I know that you're going to say the last 55 minutes of the movie, but like,
Oh, I got it.
Scene.
I have a scene.
Okay.
You want me to say it right now? Because I'll say
we
it.
Can.
Okay, what was the first question?
Favorite character. Don't look at my notes.
Favorite well, I was reading with a question.
Oh,
favorite
that's Luis's
character.
battle.
What's his name?
Let me go through the cast list, okay? We have Felicity
the blind
Jones
guy.
playing Jyn Erso. We have
Oh.
Diego Luna playing
You mean
Cassian
Ip Man.
Andor. Alan Tudyk plays K2SO, the robot. Donnie Yen plays Chirrut Imwe,
Chirrut.
the blind
That's the one I like the best.
Force user. And then Wen Jiang plays Baze Malbus. Ben Mendelsohn plays Director Krennic. And then, let's see, Forrest Whitaker plays Saw Gerrera. Riz Ahmed plays Bodhi Rook. And the homie Mads Mikkelsen plays Galen Erso.
The homie.
The homie.
I know you guys kept playing like, there he is.
And
I
there's
love him so much.
there's a couple more characters. But,
Yeah, so my favorite character is Chirrut.
Chirrut Imwe.
Chirrut.
Him and his
Hands down.
staff.
I'm one with the Force is with me. I'm one with the Force is with me. Because he just makes me feel like I could be a Jedi. He got the Force in him, and he ain't no Jedi.
I mean,
okay?
that's the coolest thing about him is that he's not a Jedi.
But he still
he feels like a Jedi.
feels the Force.
Right.
He's
so
like the
Force
altar
mystic.
boy almost.
He's what is he? He's a protector of the Jedi temple.
He's a follower of the Wills.
The Wills,
So-
yes.
Yeah, that I think the original title for Star Wars was like Star Wars
The Will of the
colon
Wisps.
the Legend of the Wills or something like that.
Oh, good Lord.
But the Wills is supposed to be like the the religion that follows the Force.
Sure.
Yeah, so a follower of the Wills is just a dude who's super into the Force, but doesn't use it like a Jedi does.
But he can do some stuff
So
with
I
it.
kind of feel you with the altar boy statement.
Right, yeah.
Almost a priest,
I'm
not
in
really
there.
a
I'm
priest.
going to get there one day.
He's like your average Joe, but he's totally not because he kicked some booty in this
He's like
movie.
a
Right, I
cardinal,
mean,
not the Pope.
He's definitely a Force user, like 100%.
Yeah, he
I
is.
mean,
Just in a different way.
He's just Ip Man plus Force.
For sure.
Minus eyes plus Force.
Minus eyes.
He had to
plus four.
sacrifice something.
Yeah, he's my favorite. Who's your favorite, Andre?
If Chirrut Imwe is not my favorite,
Well,
'cause
is he though?
He kind of is,
Okay.
but
It's fine.
I will differ and say that K2SO is my favorite. I really
He's sassy.
I really like this altered Imperial droid who hangs out with Cassian Andor, and he's got a whole lot of attitude.
It'll be interesting because they're going to do a show about Cassian, and I'm like ready for K2SO to be
Yeah.
like spitting fire, just like
All up in there.
reaming him. I don't really need a show about Cassian, but if K2SO's on it, I'm cool.
Yeah.
Emily?
What about you, Lou?
Oh,
Who's your
Louis.
favorite? Don't tell me that you weren't thinking this whole time.
No, I was.
No, he wasn't. He was playing freaking Pokemon Go.
I was hell playing Pokemon Go. I don't care.
All day.
No, I thought first of one, but then I started thinking of others.
Okay.
I know you didn't like Jin because when we were watching it, you were like, she reminds me of that stupid girl from Twilight.
Well, I mean,
Said that again today.
I mean, she's not the best actress. It's true. So it's not Jin's fault, though. It's the
You like
actress.
Saw Gerrera a lot.
With his weird...
no, I didn't.
Yes,
Greedy
you did.
thingy?
You
No, I
kept
didn't.
talking about him.
Just because I talk about
You're
somebody,
like, Forrest Whitaker is so...
just because I talk about
Bull
someone doesn't mean
gullet.
I like them.
It's me.
I would have to say probably Mads Mikkelsen.
Galen Erso.
Galen
I like this
Erso.
character. He really wasn't like a. I like that he played him really well, but I'm kind of biased. I'm a big Mads fan.
I mean, he's cool. He's
I
good
like
in this movie.
Diego Luna's character. He's hella cool.
Yeah.
No, you know what? Nah, the one I like the most is Bodhi. I like Bodhi.
Bodhi Rook.
Yeah,
Bodhi was
I could
awesome.
see
I
you
liked
liking
him.
Bodhi.
Really random character.
He
I
likes
like
he
Bodhi.
likes a lot of them, but
Bodhi is
Bodhi was cool.
very
Bodhi is
interesting
interesting.
to me because, like, and this is kind of a criticism that I have about this movie.
Oh,
but,
really?
But Bodhi is an Imperial pilot,
yeah,
right? He's like a
he
cargo
is
pilot.
essential
or whatever.
for this mission.
Absolutely, he is. But they don't show him until he's already left the Empire, had a message to deliver to Galen Erso. We don't see him before that at all. Like, I think it would have.
How long you want this movie to be?
It didn't need to be that much longer. I just needed some context for who he was and what he did and why he left.
Okay.
You know,
Because all you see him is in capture.
right?
Like,
I need to speak to Saul.
Yeah.
Saul Guerrero. Where he at? And then he gets Borgulleted, and then he's crazy for the rest of the movie.
Not the rest of the movie, but
for like 2 seconds.
then
Yeah.
he gets toasted
He's
anyway.
like,
but
I can't form any thoughts.
he was essential though, because if he didn't have the guts to betray the Empire and deliver Galen Erso's message,
Do
Right.
you want to say
Yeah.
your problem with
that's the
Bodhi,
thing
even though
that
you
I
just said he
love
was your
about this
favorite?
movie. I understand how you're saying that's like a criticism, but
You had a
that's what I
criticism
love
for
about
him.
this movie is that every single character is very essential.
Yes, absolutely.
To like I love a good prequel where it's like if that didn't happen, y'all toast. You know what I mean? They toast anyway at the end, but
Lou.
He was not crazy.
I
He
think
didn't go
it's crazy.
crazy for one bit.
just a tiny bit after Borg Gullet.
He
That wasn't your problem that you talked about earlier. You were saying that you thought it was silly.
Oh yes, now I remember. Okay, so what does he have to repent about? Why was Galen Erso, and I love this character too, why was he guilt tripping him into doing things right? He was freaking delivering vegetables and like water and milk and stuff.
Well-
What bad things is he doing?
I mean,
If
You're
it
on
were
the bad side.
From-
if it were a
Well-
straight up like, security guard,
don't know what he's
almost
done.
like, assassinate type of, I'm like, okay, I'm in. But the dude was delivering packages.
You don't know what he's
I don't get that
done.
mad at my Amazon delivery guy.
You don't know what he was
Amazon
delivering.
deliverer.
Well, that's
How
the
would you
thing.
feel if you were Tony Stark and you were delivering all of Tony Stark's weapons back in the day? Yeah, you like an instigator.
A
I mean-
job's a job. I'm not the one pulling the trigger.
It sound like
To
Tony
say-
Stark.
You sound like Jenner. So
wait, so
No.
wait, hang on.
It's dumb. Why was he? Why did they make him a cargo dude?
So I'm confused about who we're talking
Oh,
about.
I'm a chef for the
Bodhi.
We're
Empire.
talking about Bodhi Rook.
I'm
He's
a
a
chef
pilot.
For the Empire.
Stop.
I gotta repent for cooking food for people.
And Bodhi feeling bad about him betraying the Empire.
Yeah,
well,
No.
He didn't feel bad about
He-
betraying
No.
the Empire.
He's
Can I
saying he's
say it? Can I
repent.
just
let him
say
go.
it?
Yeah.
Urso pretty much guilt tripped him by saying, "Oh, you're part of the Empire."
Right.
But all he's doing is freaking driving a ship.
It doesn't matter. He's
So,
part of the Empire.
I would
No.
I would say that from Galen's perspective and even
Jin.
any of the rebels' perspective, it's like, hey, you're part of the machine, man. You're a cog in their machine, and like if you don't want to be a cog, then that's great. Join up with us. But if not, then you're going to keep on helping the Empire, and therefore destroying lives
And
throughout
that's
the
kind
galaxy.
of the rebel point of view, where they're like, it doesn't matter who you are for the Empire. Like your Empire, they're very
and I get it.
I don't know
But
what's
why
the word.
couldn't it be like a security detail who is ordered to shoot on sight?
Right, so
why
that-
did it have to be a
He
stupid
doesn't
little
like it
cargo dude?
that he's a
Oh.
cargo dude.
That
So
doesn't bother me.
this is another
Or
reason
why
why
couldn't it be like a one of those dudes in the fighter jets? Pew, pew, pew,
right,
killing
a
people?
TIE fighter guy or something like that.
Why
This
a cargo pilot?
This is why I wanted more context for Bodhi. I'm advocating for more Bodhi in the movie, you know? Like, I want to see exactly what his job was. Because they say he's a cargo pilot, but I don't necessarily know what that means. It could have been weapons. It could have been food. It could have been Amazon packages, like we said. Like, it could have been anything.
Yeah.
But... And like even with more context, there could have been a little bit more of that. He could have had a gun on his hip at all times or something like that. He could have
Like,
had to
Pizza could
deal
have
with a
been
rebel
office stationary.
before this or
Come
something
on.
like that. You know,
He's a secretary administrative.
yeah.
assistant.
No, like he's delivering like the paper they need to write on the stuff. You know,
the
like,
paper.
It's
Got
funny
your-
that you're
got your
doing
space
so
paper
much
here.
of this, but he's like, I like Bodhi though.
Yeah, he also
Like,
he likes the character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emily, what about you?
My favorite character I would say is K2SO because C3PO
Mhm.
annoys me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's too annoying. Like there comes a point where it's like, come on,
It's enough.
Like it's too much.
3PO. Get it
And
together.
So K2SO is like a good, like middle ground. But I also felt the same way about Lando's
Oh,
sissy,
his,
like sassy girl droid.
right. She had a whole lot of agency. I don't remember her name.
Anywho, point being is I liked him because he wasn't too much. He just had enough sass.
Yeah.
But I think my favorite character was an Imperial person. I liked Krennic a lot.
Yeah, he's really good.
Krennic
Ben
was
Mendelsohn.
so
He's really good.
That
Yeah,
dude's
he
great.
did
He
really
was
good.
mini Tarkin.
Yes.
For
and
sure.
He was very good.
Like literally Tarkin's like baby brother. Like,
Yeah.
no, I made the Death Star. It's my plans. This is my thing. And Tarkin's like, baby brother.
Tarkin is literally like, you're hilarious.
it made me like not laugh, but I really enjoyed his character because at all times he's like fighting for his place in the Empire.
He's a whiny
and-
baby.
Oh my god, it's not funny in a traditional sense. It's funny in the like me laughing through Inglourious Bastards sense.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I
This is
like him a
messed
lot
up, but
too.
it's
I agree with
entertaining.
you.
It's entertaining.
Okay, so let's go
Least
through.
favorite character.
Oh.
You have to do it.
We'll do, and then we'll go into scene.
Yeah.
When we're going through the movie, we'll just, whenever it's our scene, we'll
Yeah.
talk about it. Least favorite character is, honestly, it's Jyn Erso,
Okay, I'll second that. She's my least favorite.
which is so funny because she's supposed to be the main
Oh,
character.
guys, I'm
but
so sorry.
I don't
Can I
care.
bring back favorite characters?
Yes, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay, I like that fish dude.
Yeah,
The
Louis
fish
loves
general.
that.
The
Yeah.
guy who looks like a gibble.
You kept laughing whenever he would come on screen.
His name is Admiral Raddus.
Ready for this?
Yep.
I love him.
There we go.
He is awesome.
Well,
Talk
do you like
ab-
General Akbar too, and the other ones because they're the same race or same
No,
alien?
I like this guy.
You like this one?
I like this guy
This
because
gibblefish.
this is probably the same guy who's always in every single Star Wars movie that I've seen, like from Rogue One up until the OGs. He always was the one who's like, "All right, let's go, let's do this.
Yeah.
Do it.
I'm ready.
I'm a
Tell me
fish."
what you need, fam. I'm there for you."
Yeah.
Like he's just
He's on it. He's
on
doing
it.
his
Like-
job,
like
and
He,
he's doing
he
it
was
very
essential too because at the end he's like, I have an idea to like crash the ships together. Like, yeah,
Dude,
homie's ready.
this guy's like ride or die.
Yeah,
Like,
he is.
Blood
in, blood out, okay?
Love him.
As soon as he
Love
started
him.
talking on the screen, I got excited. I was like, it's that guy. And Andre was like, you're probably thinking of Akbar from the other ones.
Yes.
I was like, I don't care. Maybe it's a son. Like,
Hey, but-
he's
but-
cool
It's his
too.
granddaddy.
But doesn't he look
Oh,
like a
granddaddy.
devil?
Yeah.
No.
Other direction.
They're not that far apart in age. Like Admiral Akbar is in episode
Brother.
5.
Could be his uncle.
They don't have to be related. I think they're just from the same planet.
They are, but I like that. I like that alien species.
Akbar
Okay,
is
we'll go
orange.
with that.
The species.
They're Mon Calamari.
Look.
Thank
Mon
you very
Calamari.
much.
Yes,
Mhm.
thank you.
Look, freaking looks like a gibble.
Oh my gosh, he,
He
does
does
look
look
like
like
a
a
gibble.
gibble.
Pulling up a gibble for
You
us.
guys gotta post the picture.
Look up the
of a gibble.
Pokemon Gibble.
Well,
I'll
least
put it in the video.
favorite is Jin. Jin,
Mhm.
babe, is it Jin?
I mean, like, I don't have a super strong opinion for or against Jin.
She's just kind of there
But
to
that's
me.
a problem.
Sure.
She's the main character,
Like,
Yes.
she's
but I don't
literally
care
the
that much.
Central character of this movie.
I like
And the
Cassian
fact
more than
that
her.
I don't care about her. That's my problem. Like,
I care about
there
Galen,
is
and I
no
care about.
moment where she shines for me.
Yeah.
Excuse me. There's one right at the end where
Yeah.
she like rallies them,
She gets her moment.
but I don't care about her as a person because she has no like. I have to protect. Like, she tried to do something where she protected a kid.
Yeah.
But she should have said something like, I was protected as a child and I need to do something to protect others who can't protect themselves.
Yes. I think here's another criticism that I have for this movie.
They don't give her enough
well,
story.
I mean, they have a prologue where she's like 5 or whatever, and she runs away from Krennic and meets up with Saw Gerrera, and then they skip all the formative years of her life, like completely skip it. The next time we see her, she's 26 or whatever. You
And
know?
she's left Saw Gerrera, which we didn't know, really.
Right. We don't see any of her becoming like cool at all.
Yeah.
We just see her, and she supposedly is cool.
In jail.
In jail, and I think that is
But
is a problem with her character shining
I
through.
understand
in
that,
this
but I
movie.
also think it's the actress, because I think Jin has the capability, even with what she was given when she's giving her speeches and like talking to Cassian, like she could have a little more emotion going on, or like a little more passion.
So she did have a Kristen Stewart
You know what
thing going
though?
on.
I remember I had seen this girl before she was in The Theory of Everything
Yes.
or something like that.
Yeah, she
with,
was the wife.
Was she good in that?
She was really good in that.
Right, I believe she.
So maybe that's just the way they wanted her to seem.
Yeah.
I believe
don't
she was
know.
nominated for an Oscar for that movie.
It's however the
really
director
good.
told her to act,
Yes.
I guess.
I
What's
would
his,
not.
Freddie
Redmayne.
Freddie Redmayne.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I dislike Jin,
Hawking's
but
wife.
she just,
Correct.
I don't care that much. Like, I kind of care more about K2. Well, I definitely care more about K2SO.
I mean, I agree 100% with you guys. The character was just awful.
She was bland.
Bland.
Bland,
Yeah.
yeah.
I realized it didn't come down to the actress, though. I don't think so. I think they
You think
made
that's
her-
how they wrote
Oh,
it?
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's
All right.
interesting because, like, going into this movie and not knowing anything, but having seen episode 7, and I'm going to dive into some Star Wars lore
fine,
here, I
that's
guess.
fine.
But, like, having seen episode
You
7,
have to talk about things as a whole.
so we see Rey, and she's showing up, and she's having her own journey.
She's
and
sick.
the big mystery about Rey is, like, who are her parents? Who are they? Who are they?
Mm-hmm.
Where did they come from? How did she get so powerful or whatever? And so Rogue One starting, I was like, this is the one. It's Jin. Jin is her mom, for sure.
Oh, you thought that?
I thought that a million %. And
Oh.
then they all die at the end, and I was like, oh, maybe. Maybe not.
I mean, yeah,
So-
could be a good
so
theory.
I thought her character was going to be expounded upon after this movie. But,
Mm-hmm.
I got to, an hour and 49 minutes and found out that that's not what was going to be
I
happening.
love a movie where they kill all the main characters, and that's the truth.
I mean, yeah, it's
I'm weird. I like movies like that.
It's a
Where I'm
bold
like,
move for this movie. So
yeah, but it made it better to me.
Luis, do you have a least favorite character?
Or is it Jin? I don't like Borg Gullet.
Ooh.
He's creepy.
That's not even a character.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
definitely
I mean,
was.
Fine, he's my least favorite
He
creature.
was definitely an animatronic that had baby tentacles. at
He
the
had a
bottom.
name. He was a character.
No,
Yeah, that's what he
was
sounded
not
like,
a
too.
character. My least
battle literally is about him, so I don't know.
Yeah, but it's not a character. It's a creature.
Same thing.
It is not talking.
Neither does Chewbacca.
Chewbacca hecka talks. What's your deal?
Yeah, he talks all the time. I would say that if I'm not choosing Jyn Erso, because once again, I don't hate her. I don't think she's a
I don't hate her.
a
I'm
bad
just saying
character. She's
if
just-
I had to pick a least favorite,
sure. She's just not
that's
as
who it would be.
a fully fledged character as some of the rest of them, and how much she should be for being the main character. I would say that the character that I dislike the least in this movie, I think it might be Grand Moff Tarkin. And that is mostly
Okay.
because of the CGI work
For
that
sure.
they did with him. And
That's my slash for this.
I'm fairly impressed with this recreation of this dead guy's face. Honestly, they captured Peter Cushing's face and put it onto some
They
guy,
just
somebody who's alive.
Spend too long on it
Yeah, I think they focus on him too much in this movie, and they don't need to.
because can we compare it to the end?
Can you pick up your mic?
Sorry, can we compare it to when you see Leia for a split second?
Sure.
That doesn't look that bad. But seeing Tarkin for most of the time, I was like,
Well, I think, okay, so if you guys have listened to our Crack in the Vault episode, we talked a lot about...
Boo! Boo! Spoiler alert. Boo! Boo! Spoiler alert. Emily is about to spoil the last episode of The Mandalorian Season 2. If you would not like to hear any spoilers for The Mandalorian Season 2, go ahead and skip ahead. I should have measured this out. 30 seconds. Thanks.
Luke
We did.
Skywalker popping in at the end of Mandalorian Season 2. Spoiler, that's
Oh
your
yeah,
own fault.
I'll put a spoiler there before that.
Thank you. But I understand that there's a lot of cool opportunities for de-aging and CGI and things because unfortunately some people have passed away, which does suck. Or
happens.
people are old, like whatever his name is that I don't like.
Harrison Ford.
No, what?
Tarkin.
Oh,
I think
no.
she's talking about Tarkin.
No, she's talking about
I'm
Luke.
Talking about Luke.
Oh, Luke.
Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill.
Anywho,
Sorry.
but Star Wars is so iconic
Mm-hmm.
that you don't have to do a lot, and sometimes it's better to less is more.
Less is
where
more.
Tarkin literally could have been facing out into space the entire time with his back to Krennic, and I think it would have been more impactful for the scene for him never to have looked him in the eyes.
They start that scene perfectly because it is exactly that shot that you're describing. You're seeing him through the panel glass of the outside of the Death Star or whatever, and you're just seeing like a reflection of his face. And he's talking, and it's great. It's like, oh, snap, they put Tarkin in this movie. This is great. And then it just keeps going, and they do a cut to his full face, and it's like, hey, guess what? I came right out of a video game. Check me out. Look at me. And let's
Yeah.
have
It could have
5
just
more
been-
scenes with my video game
It
face.
could have literally just been him talking into it because I mean, Cheekbones McGee over here.
Yeah.
Like, we know it's him.
Right.
There's no doubt it's him.
It's him.
We
He
get
could
it.
have literally just turned his face like 40 degrees to the left, and you see the side of his face, and that had been it.
Yeah.
And it would have been more menacing to
Well,
me.
and it's obviously him because it was so funny because I was like, why didn't they just recast this person for like a little bit? But then we were watching episode 4 and Tarkin's in it, and I was like, yeah, there's no way they can recast this dude. He looks so unique.
Oh,
So like they didn't have a choice,
He's
but
got
they
some-
could have done it differently.
He's got some
I agree with you.
Maleficent cheekbones.
For sure.
This dude.
Natural.
He looks like the skulls from Coco.
He looks like Skeletor with
Yeah.
skin on his face.
Yeah, definitely.
looks like a sugar skull.
So it's not my favorite, but I mean it doesn't bother me that much. Like I can overlook it, but it doesn't look great.
Yeah.
So this movie starts with no crawl, and we're right into this setting. I want to say prequel scene. It's in a prequel.
Prologue.
Prologue. Thank you so much. Wow, I
We
can't use
agree
my
that
words
this
right now.
prologue is very very similar in time frame to the end of episode 3,
So
Yeah.
like within a very short amount
it
of time.
is, I believe, 7 years after episode 3, 13 years before episode 4.
So it takes them like 20 years to finish the Death Star because that's a massive thing to
Yeah.
build.
Okay.
So then we're thinking at the end when we see Darth Vader that he's like, what did we say, like 38 probably? We think he's like in his late 30s, early 40s.
Yes, by the time he perishes at the end of 6, yes.
Yeah,
in his
Yeah, so it's
Mid to
been
late
like
40s.
7 years, and the Empire, they're just trying to get this thing built, honestly, because that's a massive undertaking in and of itself,
and get it working.
and get it working, and they need him to get it working. And
So
you know,
they track down Galen Erso on some.
he's kind of living in the middle of nowhere because he doesn't want to be
Yes.
found.
Yes.
Yeah, they have like a farm or whatever.
So him, his wife, and,
And his
his
daughter.
Jin, who he constantly calls Stardust.
My Stardust.
That's a cute nickname.
It is
I like
cute.
that.
Especially because they're in space, I suppose.
Yeah.
I guess we're in space, but whatever.
Yeah, we're in
It's
space
more
too.
of a different kind of universe.
Technically,
We don't travel within space.
That's true.
we don't go to parsecs away.
Yeah.
But So very quickly, the alarms are raised, and they know that Krennic is coming for him to
Krennic's
take
on the
him
way.
back so that he
It seems like Krennic's been trying to find him. Like, you need to come back to the Empire. Like,
Ever
we need
since
you
he
now.
left, yes.
Sounds like it's like, you know how you were like retire from the army. It's like he retired from the Empire, but they're like, sorry, bro, you have to come back.
Actually.
And I don't know how much of a like retirement it was. It's more of a
Of
like,
an escape.
I'm
I'm
leaving
done.
and not coming back. Hope you
Goodbye.
guys don't find me.
Yeah.
It was like Anastasia, where he, like the KGB should have been after him, and he was like,
Right.
no.
Yeah, totally.
Neat.
Was that, or was that the other show that we watched? That was the other show.
What's the wife's name? I can't
Queen's
remember.
Gambit.
Lyra? Yes, Lyra.
Lyra, yeah. So
Lyra
Lyra
Erso.
pops out. They hide Jin, and Lyra pops out with her blaster, like pointed at Krennic, and he's like, Lyra, Lyra, Lyra. I like Krennic
Taking
a lot
all
too.
of you.
And he's like, you're not gonna do it, and she's like, I'm gonna do it, and he's like, you won't. And then he shot her first, and so wife
like
is
a
dead,
triple
and
shot.
you're coming with me, but they have a girl, and Krennic wants to find her, but lo and behold, he does not, and Saw Gerrera finds her.
Right.
They keep her in like a
Bunker.
bunker,
A
yeah,
bunker.
and that's basically our intro.
Yeah, that's the prologue, and it's interesting. Like I like the fact that Lyra is like, I don't care how sweet this deal you think you're offering me is.
I ain't going.
I'm not going back to that evil dark place. Like the Empire is so bad that even just working for you in luxury feels worse than.
Yeah, he's like, we're gonna put you up. It's gonna be
It'll
great.
be nice. You'll all be together home finally as a family. I
Bam.
guess not. I'll shoot you in
Dead.
shoot you in
I
the
like
face.
that he's Australian all of a sudden.
Yeah, so we cut to 13 years later.
Jin is in jail.
Jin is a big girl in jail. And I guess she's just enjoying her time in there. I don't know how long she's been in there or what. But we come to learn that she was abandoned by Saw Gerrera sometime previously.
As like a 16-year-old or something.
Yeah, or something like that.
'Cause basically, the Empire has been looking for her.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, just to
They need her as bait, honestly.
right to keep
To
Galen
keep-
in line.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's the ones who can make the Death Star
Basically,
complete.
the only one. He's essential, just like that other scientist was essential with Baby Yoda.
Sure. Yeah.
Harry Potter classes.
Yes, that dude.
Yeah.
Who also looked a lot like Riz Ahmed in this movie.
Charlie Cox Potter.
Yeah.
Charlie Potter.
Charlie Cox Potter. So
Totally looks like Charlie Cox. You're right.
we also see Cassian Andor get introduced. He shows up on a scummy planet. He hangs out with a scummy informant, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know what's going on. There's all these stormtroopers everywhere. I don't know if this information is safe to give out." But
And he's like, "Sounds good. Thanks for the info."
they're building a super weapon, and you got to watch out.
And he's like, "Thank you for that info. You're now dead."
Well, they're now
he's
dead.
a spy, right, Cassian?
Cassian's definitely an Imperial spy, a Rebel spy.
Rebel spy.
And he's trying to get as much information as he can. So this informant, he's all jittery and scared. And when the stormtroopers come in to question them, he's like, I don't know how we're gonna survive this, man. I don't know how we're gonna get out of here. My arm's all jacked up. And Cassian's like, I got you, bro. You don't have to climb nowhere. Pew pew.
And I remember
caps
being
him.
like, okay, this is okay. And Luis was like, he's a spy. Yeah, that's what they do. And I was like, I guess you're right. They
Yeah.
kill their informants and goodbye.
Bro, snitches get stitches. I mean, I don't know how many ways you want to say it, but I guess a
Yeah.
stitch is really not gonna.
Well,
Help with that blaster.
he escapes, right? And then he
Cassian,
goes
not
Cassian escapes. He goes back to the Rebel Alliance and informs them of what they know.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically tell him we need to go get Jin, the daughter,
Right.
because Galen Erso is some of the information given, and they're like, well, Jin Erso, we need to get the daughter.
Right.
And they need to get to Saw Gerrera, and they know that the only way
To get to him is with Jin.
Is legit.
Because
She's the key to both
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 things.
sides.
Both things, honestly. She's kind of essential in getting the rebels' plan going. So they bust her out of jail. How do they get her?
So it's K2SO and
K2SO, that's right.
and a couple other rebels, but they break into the transport ship that's transporting Jin and a couple other jail homies.
Cassian or K2SO's like, congratulations, you've been saved.
You're being rescued by the rebels.
stop fighting us.
Yes,
Stop
stop resisting.
I thought it was very cute because it reminded me of like a Marvel movie where it's just very point blank, as if it was, I don't know.
You've been
Tony
saved.
Stark,
Please
you
stop.
have been saved.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
She doesn't really have a choice, too. She's like, well, I guess I have to
Right.
go with you guys.
She's definitely being dragged along, and she's not super into hanging out with the rebels. You know,
She doesn't really like either. She just kind of wants to be her own thing.
right. So she arrives at Yavin 4, the rebel base. She speaks with Mon Mothma and Bail Organa, Leia's father, and what's that other dude's name? The dude from Sex Education.
Oh my god.
Oh, I don't remember.
Baldy pants. But
The frick.
she talks to the leaders.
All of the big leaders of
Yes.
the Rebel Alliance.
Exactly.
Mon Mothma and General Organa
And
especially.
so they explain to her that
Which was nice to see him.
Right.
Especially after watching 1, 2, and 3. I was like, oh, hey, bro.
oh snap, it's
Oh, yeah, that probably felt a little different, huh?
Yeah,
Jimmy
there he
Smits.
is.
He's here.
Which he wasn't important until the 3rd movie. So I was like, oh,
Right.
hey.
Yeah.
Organa, yeah.
But he was in those earlier ones.
He
wasn't
was.
in them.
Yes,
He
yes,
was
he
in them.
them.
Because he's like a leader, like
He
a
was like a
world
senator.
leader, you know.
Yes,
So.
he's a senator, the leader of Alderaan.
Mm-hmm.
So they explain to
Yeah, that
Jin
place.
that
That place is gone.
that the Empire is building this crazy weapon, and we're pretty sure it's your daddy who's helping them do it. So
And she's like, uh-huh.
yeah, so we want some information. Like, is he cool or what? And she's like, I don't know. My father abandoned me. I don't want to talk about any of this.
Yeah.
And
They
She
talk
did a
about
freaking
going
Harry
to...
Potter #5 and just.
And they're like, well, we got to go find Saw
Oh,
Gerrera.
God,
And
daddy
she's
issues.
like, fine, I guess I am going.
right.
Like, she doesn't really have a choice, you know.
Yes.
And Cassian does not trust her.
No,
Rightfully.
not at all.
But
And
also,
yeah,
he's a spy. Why would he trust her?
why would he trust anyone?
Yeah.
So Cassian and K2SO load Jin up onto their ship. They fly to Jeddah, which was
Yes.
the location of, I believe, the first Jedi temple ever. No, not.
I don't think
it's
not the first one,
It's
but
not the
a
first.
Jedi temple.
A Jedi temple.
One of the remaining ones.
I mean,
at this point.
it still stands. It's not like there are Jedi's hanging out in there. So yeah, they go to Jeddah, where it's rumored that Saw Gerrera is
Has his posse.
Yes, is posseing up out there.
And Saw Gerrera's Rebel Alliance is like extremists.
They are the extremists.
Yeah.
Yes, they are the Al Qaeda of of the rebels.
Yeah, kind of.
I guess.
Yeah.
In that they take extreme measures to achieve their goals and take down the empire in Jeddah. So they get there, and they start walking around the town. Everybody's sketchy, but Jin gets distracted and goes and talks to Chirrut Emwe for a minute.
Because Chirrut says something about her necklace.
Yeah.
Doesn't she wear like a necklace?
She wears a kyber crystal
Kyber
necklace
crystal,
that
thank you.
her father
Yeah,
gave her.
so, and we
it
know.
says Together in Paris.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Shut up.
Every time I see it, I'm like, Together in Paris.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it sings that song.
Yeah, so he senses that he doesn't see the kyber crystal. He senses the kyber crystal
Yeah.
because he is blind. But he is a protector of the Jedi Temple, so technically they protect kyber crystal. So we know the Empire is here because they are harvesting kyber crystal to power the Death Star, which is
We learn over
basically
time.
a giant lightsaber to the
Pretty much.
I mean, yeah.
millionth degree.
Yeah, it's a lightsaber laser cutting through
Nuclear
your planet.
weapon,
Mhm.
basically.
Yes, indeed.
I
So
never thought of it like that, but it totally is like a giant light.
it's green too.
It's like
It's
a light
Yeah.
laser.
it's
Yeah,
a laser.
it's
It's
a
like a
laser.
giant laser. It's a giant lightsaber, but
Mhm.
like it has so much kyber crystal in it. You know,
Yeah. It's
Yoda up in
Laser
here
pointer.
just letting all these people take this kyber crystal. Yoda.
Thanks a lot, Yoda.
Thanks a lot, Yoda.
Dang, Yoda.
So,
Just hanging out in the swamp.
right. So they.
And Obi-Wan over there doing a whole lot of nothing.
Whole lot of nothing
Ooh.
on Tatooine.
I'm a ghost.
I'm a
I'm
ghost.
basically a ghost. So. so.
He doesn't do Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan. He always does it
It's
the
a-
episode 4 Obi-Wan.
My goodness, I don't remember owning a droid.
That was so dumb. We were just watching that episode. Never mind. Anyways.
Anywho, so Jin and Cassian, they interact with some of Saw Gerrera's rebels. They're blowing stuff up. They're killing stormtroopers and whatnot. And Jin and Cassian get caught up in the firefight. Oh, excuse me, this mimosa is destroying
my
my
God.
insides. So Jin saves like a little girl. They start shooting stormtroopers. They get corralled into a corner, and Chirrut Imwe and his homie Baze Malbus, excuse me.
You mean
All the way around.
big old gun.
Big Gun Baze.
Yeah, I like him too.
Big gun, baby.
They come
They're
in to help.
besties for the resties.
Yeah, they are.
They're besties and possibly life partners. I don't know. And
That
they,
is homies for life.
yeah, rings on them, but whatever.
Bad
And
boys
so Chirrut Imwe comes in and just demolishes some stormtroopers.
Dude,
with
it
his
is
cane.
It's not my favorite scene, but that is a runner up for me because he is just laying waste to them
He's
with his
Hitmaning
staff.
them for sure.
He's getting his
Oh,
Hitman on.
and the fighting just looks so like peace, like the
Imagine
flow.
if he did have a lightsaber. Like, it would be so beautiful. Like,
It'd be awesome.
Someone give that fool a lightsaber, please. He needs one.
Yeah, he's
He's
very good at
sick.
fighting. I mean,
He's like Toph because he's blind, and then he's like,
From Avatar, y'all.
I was just about
Yeah.
to say, Chirrut Imwe versus Daredevil. Go.
yeah,
Oh.
I don't
Look at
know.
Luis's face. He's like, oh my god.
that's intense.
I mean,
Luis loves himself some Daredevil.
it's the battle of the blinds, and I don't know.
Blind Blinds.
Yeah, blind battle.
blind battle.
And honestly, it's really close because Chirrut Imwe uses the Force in probably a very similar way
He
to
can hear
Daredevil.
things, so does Daredevil. I don't know.
Right,
That's
that's
a
what-
good one, babe.
That's what I'm saying is that
That is a good one.
they both see without seeing and
I'm rooting for Chirrut.
are very aware of their surroundings. And
What do you think, Luis?
I'm gonna say my boy Matt Murdock, man. That guy got fish hooked by an immortal and survived.
He
yeah,
also went to law school, so
And
yeah, he's got a couple
he's an
of
avocado, so he can totally do it.
he's got just a couple of other skills.
True.
Oh, he dresses better than Chirrut. You know, it's just a couple of things better than him.
I like Chirrut though.
but Chirrut is very cool.
Yeah, so
Um,
that's a good
He
scene, and
defends the law while
Yeah.
And,
Jack
you know,
defends the Kyber crystal.
They save their
Um,
butts.
Cassian shoots one of the rebels from Saw Gerrera's rebels. He shoots them down because he was about to throw a bomb at the car or whatever tank thing
Mhm.
where Jin was, and he was like, "No, we can't kill Jin. We need Jin."
Right.
So at the end of that battle, K2SO comes in and he's like, oh, that's a funny scene. Like K2SO comes in and she like shoots one of the Imperial
droids.
droids and he's like, you knew that wasn't me, right? And she's like, yeah.
I don't believe you.
I know. He has a personality that I really like,
He
which
has
is
very good ones.
yeah, it is funny. So because Cassian killed one of Saw Gerrera's rebels, they capture them and take them in to see
And take
Saw,
them
which
all
is
in.
kind of exactly what they wanted anyway.
They
so
they blindfold them all, even Chirrut.
'Cause
He's
they
like,
had, like, this
me too, but I'm blind.
That was probably the funniest scene.
that was
Like,
a really
the
good
best
line.
scene for
I
me.
think he says like, "Oh, come on."
He's like, are
Come
you
on,
kidding
guys,
me?
I'm blind.
That one definitely made me do a ha!
Yeah,
For sure.
very very funny moment. So yes, they get captured. They go into the same cells where Bodhi Rook is already hanging out because he had shown up, tried to talk to Saw Gerrera, tried to relay a message to
He
him
got slithered.
because Saw Gerrera is very paranoid at this point. He's been fighting with the rebels for a very long time. And at this point, he thinks that everyone is out to kill him because why wouldn't you, I guess.
He needs to have a stand-in like Princess Amidala.
Yeah, he needs somebody to go out there and pretend to be Saw.
He did. He died. General Grievous was his stand-in, man.
General Kenobi.
That's actually really funny, Lou.
Yeah, it's a very similar breathing apparatus that both these homies got going. A lot of people got breathing problems in Star Wars. Nobody could breathe in space. It's weird. So yeah, Saw Gerrera and his
Bad atmosphere, I guess.
his extra lung or whatever are up there, and they throw everybody into the cage, but Jin gets to relay a message to him because they're close or whatever. So she goes in there, starts appealing to him, and starts arguing with him because he was a father figure to her. And she's like, you left me. I was 16 years old. You abandoned me. He's like, I knew you could handle it. You are our best rebel girl. Chill out.
Well, he was also like, I'm protecting you. They were going to come for you. It was going to, like, they were going to find you. And you
Right.
were going to ruin my thing I have going here.
I just
Exactly.
really appreciate all of the accents you're giving these people.
You know.
I know it's fun.
I had to leave you.
Bogalit.
Bagulit.
Bogalit. do
That's
the
not the
Forrest
accent you
Whitaker
just
eye.
giving
So
Homie has his breathalyzer thingy on him all the time too.
so Saw he shows Jin the message from Galen Erso that he gave to Bodhi Rook in the first place, and it's him. He's like, "Hey, Jin, what's up? It's me, your daddy."
No, he doesn't. Oh my
Remember?
gosh.
You remember?
He says like, "Hi,
I'm Hannibal."
Stardust."
I was the bad guy, Doctor Strange. So he relays the message that he has been building the Death Star
Because he basically had to.
under the Empire because he had to, but he ain't going out like no punk, okay? I built an error, a false
Fail-safe.
a fail-safe into the system. All I got to do is hit this tiny little port, pew, 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 the whole system goes down.
I just really appreciate
Really,
though,
he had to make it that hard that somebody had to freaking shoot it directly on that spot. Like,
but
you
I mean,
couldn't
like,
have.
if he had made it obvious, they would have found
Correct.
Yeah, that's true.
I
That's the
like
thing.
though that he thought that much about it because he has like a whole thing like I realized that if I didn't help them then and like plunge myself
Someone
into my
else
work,
would.
someone else would have done it anyway, so I
Right.
might as well make a way to destroy it.
Mhm.
Exactly,
They're
which
literally gonna kill
is
everybody
pretty
else.
smart if you
Right.
think about it.
For sure.
But he's like, and she's watching this message like basically in tears, and he's like, you have to go to the data vault on Scarif, and you have to get this and blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden, it cuts out.
Because the Empire has arrived, and
Because Tarkin's up there doing Tarkin stuff.
the whole Death Star has shown up right above Jeddah, and
Oh,
they're
it's
like,
terrifying,
you know
too.
what would be great is if we tested this bad boy
Yeah,
out.
because
Let's
Tarkin doesn't believe that it works.
fire up these lasers and let's take out Jeddah. Let's see how
Because
it
Krennic,
goes.
Krennic
Up there
keeps
like,
being like, well, it's a weapon.
It's mine, it's not.
It's not ready yet. It's not ready yet. I'm going to fire. It's not ready yet. And Tarkin is like, well, we're going to fire it and
well,
see
you
what
wanna
happens.
Know about that cargo pilot? He wasn't ready yet either.
Right.
Also,
Do it.
all of Saw's people are down there, and this getting out of hand, so we might as well just blow everybody
Let's
up.
just blow it up.
Because Tarkin loves blowing things
We got
up.
all these kyber crystals we need. Blow it up.
That was
So
another issue for me that there was literally this landscape had two places that you could hide.
yeah.
The city or
Or
literally
this
the
rock.
only other place was where Saw Gerrera was.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't find
And he's
him.
only like 20 miles out
Like, he's right
from
there.
the city
You
or
couldn't
whatever.
find him?
Because stormtroopers are dumb, okay?
Yeah,
that's
they're-
an ongoing thing we can talk
pretty
about for
stupid.
another day.
But
But this scene is very cinematically.
I remember seeing it in the theaters and being like, "Oh my
Whoo.
god!"
Like, I think I started kind of waking up at this point, like,
Yeah.
holy moly, what is going on?
Yeah,
Because at this point, the Death Star is not fully functional, but it is almost scarier to me. Like, if I was on the planet, I would rather just poof, like, instantly, like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm dead. No, I have to see the landscape coming at me, like a lightning storm happening.
It's like the idea
great.
of like watching an atomic bomb go off.
yes.
Yeah.
And being on the outskirts of a city and watching like
I would have rather have been on Alderaan, just like, poof, I'm
It's
gone.
very
Like, oof.
Hiroshima-esque,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Like,
But it's also cinematically, like, really
exactly.
beautiful.
We've never seen the Death Star operate like this. We've only seen
No.
it blow up an entire planet, or in the sequel movies, blow up 5 or 6 planets at the same time or
and,
whatever.
and in the sequel movies, it is good, but we have to think that they're like 70s and 80s,
Right.
So this one, like, I think I really felt like, holy moly, the Death Star is crazy.
It was cool because they were like, Alexa, turn the Death Star to 15%, and they were like, pew, and the laser looks very cool when it blows up the entire city, and they then have to make their escape.
Tarkin is like, I think it's Krennic. He's like, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. I've never seen an entire city blow up like that. I got to do this more often. Let's blow up more cities.
And they
So-
wanted to send a message too, like,
Yes. So, a message received, I believe. So they all have to get off of this planet because it is becoming unstable very
now.
quickly.
Like,
yes.
Bodhi, you're a pilot. Get up. Let's go.
Right. Everybody, let's go. So the whole crew, minus Saw. Excuse me.
Yeah,
leaves
Saw just being like, I'm going to go down with my ship. Like, you're on a planet. Get off it. You're okay.
Yeah, his motivation for staying, I mean, I guess is just like,
he said he's not gonna run any longer, and it's like, dude,
bro, this is the first time we've only
I think he was
we've ever
like,
seen you.
dude, I'm so tired of breathing out this stupid tube. Like, I'm done.
But that's the thing about Saw Gerrera is that he is one of those legacy characters. He was in Star Wars: The Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, which all predate this movie, and this is like his final form, even though it's the first time we've seen him in cinema.
Yeah, he's just like,
I
I'm
won't
done.
lie though, I'm glad we don't see more of him, because if he had been clunking around, in the background,
Breathing all hard.
I would have been so mad.
Grievous was enough, man.
I did not need to see him just breathing the rest of the movie.
Andre always kept having to remind me that Grievous was once a person.
Yeah, he was not always fully robot. He was like a
He just toasted
like
so
a person,
He's a
and
cyborg.
yeah,
Got
he
a
had-
little tiny heart in there, some
he had
weird eyes.
some bad lungs. I don't know why they couldn't replace those, and a heart inside of his robo body. He's like, I've got 4 arms and 4 lightsabers, but 2 bad lungs. It's like, bro, you can obviously get this fixed. Like, go get it fixed. Holy moly.
That
It's
was a
who he is,
confusing part
okay?
for me, too.
It's who he
I was
is.
like, why is there a robot Imperial
With a cough.
Like, what is this?
Robot with a cough.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's very
So, yeah, that place is toast.
Yeah, so they all
Greta is
get out with the skin of their
and so
teeth. K2SO flies them out.
yeah, and they're there, and of course they're all on the ship and very emotional because that just happened.
Mm-hmm.
And Jin is like, okay, I just saw a message from my dad, and it says this, this, and this. And the other people are like, okay, what are we gonna do? And Cassian is like, what? I don't trust you. Like, you're the only one that saw it, and you didn't take the message, even though the planet was like being blown up. But
And
you
the
didn't
message
take the message.
Was from your father.
The message was from your father. This sounds suspicious. I get why he's saying what he is, but in that moment, I'm like, shut up, dude. Like,
Yeah,
come on.
Cassian is very suspicious.
Mhm.
And
Rightfully.
he literally goes to his little telegram machine and is like, "Yo, rebels,
Yeah.
what do you think?" And they're like, "Nah,
kill him.
go to the facility,
Take him out.
kill the crap out of him." Sorry.
Yes. So that's his
side
mission.
His
Cassian's
mission is to kill
is
Galen.
to kill Galen Erso, the proprietor of the Death Star. We got to kill him, even though this
But
thing's
like
already
at
fully
this
built.
point, it seems like it's fully built. So like, what's killing him gonna do? It would probably be better to capture him and get some info out of him. But
Right, you would think, but that's
The
not.
rebels are shock and awe. I
Yeah,
guess.
the rebels
Well,
are
it's
not
that
playing
one rebel
anymore.
guy. He was like, I know they said to capture him, but like, you kill him.
It's the principal.
Right, it's the sex education
Yeah.
guy, whose name I should find
Like,
out.
I don't think Mon Mothma said to kill.
His name is General Draven, and he's played by Alistair Petrie.
Yeah.
Anyway, one of those.
That guy.
Yeah, that guy. So, yeah, I guess he's just the baddest of the rebels who's ready to just cap dudes.
He's ready to
the
throw down.
almost Saw.
Yeah. So they go to Galen Erso's facility on Edu, I believe is.
Can we pause here?
Yes.
Yeah, I need to.
I think that most people can agree, and I'm not saying every single movie has one, but most Star Wars movies
Mm-hmm.
has a scene that goes on too long.
Yes.
Like,
Mhm.
it needs to be shorter.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
we get the point. We know what's supposed to be happening. For me, this scene
On Edu.
is the one. I'm like,
What's the one on Edu though?
So.
Oh,
the one where they're at
oh.
the facility and they're scoping
Yeah.
it out and they're gonna try to kill him, or we think Cassian's gonna try to kill him, and then the rebels come in.
Yeah,
and they shoot him.
yeah.
But then also the like Krennic goes and he's trying to shoot him.
It's a long action
really
sequence.
It's
freaking
very
Awesome.
political right now
This scene
too.
reminds me of that one in Captain Marvel, where it's like the very first scene
Yeah, in the
where they're
beginning.
going in to like save this one dude who had a distress call. and
Yeah.
It turns
a
out to
lot
be
of
the
that.
scrolls.
It's like,
and stuff
hurry
that.
up.
Everything's
Yeah.
dark. Yeah, they
I
fly in the
mean-
dead of night. It's raining, it's pouring, and they all have to infiltrate this facility like one by one. Basically, Cassian's like, "I'm going down there. Everybody else stay here." And then Jin's like, "I'm going down there. Everybody else stay here." And then Sheridan and Maze are like, "I guess we're going down there." K2SO
Well,
stay here.
Chirrut says something too that says Jin off though, because he's like, has he killed someone or something like
He
that?
says the
He
force
says-
follows. The force moves darkly
Around him, like
around
he's gonna
someone who's
kill
about to
somebody.
Yes.
And she's like, that ain't happening. I'm going, right? So she goes after her father. And basically what happens is Krennic gets there and he basically tells everybody that worked on the Death Star, like all those scientist people, come line up, right? And he's like, one of you has betrayed the Empire. And they're all like, what? I betrayed the Empire?
No,
He's like,
fucking
come
hard.
forward now. And nobody comes forward. He's like, fine, I'm going to shoot you all then because, that's what the Empire does.
Mhm.
And Galen is like, no, it's me. And they don't kill Galen and they still kill everybody else. So Empire. Such
Yeah.
an
Empire.
so
Empire.
Empire.
You know, can't trust none of y'all. I don't like any of your old dumb faces anyway. Pew, 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 pew,
Yeah,
pew,
but Krennic,
pew.
I'm like, Krennic, calm down. You didn't really have to do that. Tarkin's probably over there like, great, now we got to get some more scientists.
Yeah.
You know?
I think Krennic is halfway feeling himself and halfway all mad at Daddy Tarkin for taking away his Death Star toy or whatever, you know?
Exactly.
I'm killing everybody.
So all of those people die, and Krennic is like, you're here, you're doing this, Galen, and that's the end of that. And he's like, okay, fine.
I think he just knows that there's more he can get out of him.
Yeah.
And that he wants to know what other secrets Galen has.
Right, because
So
if you're
but
sending
then,
out messages.
at the same time, here come the rebels because they know that the Imperial, like the Empire went in, so they have to go in and they have to kill Galen.
Boom.
And so
Plot
in
up
the
top.
end, it is the rebels.
it is
who
the
end up
rebels
killing
that shoot at the
It is
shoot
the
at the base
rebels that end up killing Galen.
and kill Galen Erso, yes.
But I mean, at that point, they kind of didn't really believe the other information, so.
But the important thing is that Cassian has a shot lined up to take Galen out, and because of his relationship with Jin now, he's like, I guess I'm having second thoughts and I won't shoot this dude.
Yeah, because he kind of believes her, but he also kind of doesn't. And he also has said before, like, I've done a lot of things for the rebels, like, that I'm not proud of. So he's probably, like, kind of done trying to kill people. He's like, I got to kill another person, you know?
Right.
Which, that's Star Wars for you. But, so when they, like, Jin gets to see her dad, and he's like, oh, Stardust, blah, 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 son, you know, and then he dies. And so she's really emotional. Cassian gets her out, and they get on the thing, and she's like, dude, you were there to kill my father. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Did you see me pull the trigger? I ain't pulled no triggers. He got blowed up.
She's like, that was an
but you had
alliance
intention.
ship that came and killed my father.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know.
So there's some tension there.
Yeah, a lot of tension.
So they go back to the rebel base. They share what they know.
Jin tells him everything.
Hey, guess what? There's a Death Star. The plans are on Scarif.
Some of them like don't even believe the Death Star is real. They're like, no, that doesn't sound like a thing.
They wouldn't do that.
Like, homies, it's right there. They saw it with
we
their
saw it
own
on
eyes.
Jeddah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the
I feel like they feel like how I felt at the first presidency pre this one.
Yeah.
I don't know what year it was, but it was
2016.
2016.
Uh-huh.
Where I was like, no, it's not going to happen. Oh, my God.
fine.
It
We would
happened.
never do something like that. And then we do it.
And then we did it.
Yeah, so the Rebel Alliance is being very combative, and they're like, no, we're not sending you to Scarif. We're not doing any of that.
Except my boy, the general, he's like, let's go.
Right.
Yeah, he's
Tell me
ready.
when.
And even
Let's do
Organa
it.
was kind of like, you know, we need to take this opportunity. But the thing is like the opportunity that they're taking, it's slim to none
It's now or never.
of getting what they need.
So the coolest thing I think about this whole next part of the movie is that this freaking planet has a shield around it.
It's cool.
And there's only one way to get into the atmosphere, and it's guarded 100% by the
Imperials.
Empire.
Exactly.
And I find that so, like, it's just so cool.
It's very cool.
Because
They
it's
have-
like their data vault.
Yeah.
Like they have to protect that with everything they have.
I
You
just
know?
think
Yeah.
that's so cool. So it makes it obviously extremely hard to get in or out if you are not supposed to be there.
Right.
Any type of espionage is almost slim to none.
Yeah.
It's very difficult
And they
to
were
do.
like, we're not sending anybody. So Jin is like kind of sad, but Cassian rounds up some crew and they're like, okay, we're going to go. Right. So they
'Cause
have
now he's fully on her side.
they have a small team. Like, what would you say, like 30 people maybe?
yeah.
Like 30
Literally,
people.
yeah.
They're not really all going to fit on this ship, which is an Imperial ship
Imperial cruiser.
from Bodhi, an Imperial cruiser. So Bodhi kind of knows how to get in. But like and this is where the next part gets interesting because everything that they do had to be done, but it could have gone completely wrong. Completely.
It reminds me of the Lego movie when Batman has to like fly in to the super tall
the tower.
the tower and he's like choo choo and he like throws his anyhow.
Yeah. Like even the call sign, they're like, well, we have to
first
think
time.
of a call sign, and then they're like, okay, Rogue One, I guess.
One.
They give the password and they get into the planet. But like if they didn't have Bodhi, that wouldn't have happened. That's why I'm saying like every single person.
They're all essential. I think I said when we were watching it that it's it's structured like a time travel movie in
Very
that
Yeah,
So-
Andre said that.
everything has to happen in this exact sequence.
exact
otherwise,
order, and every person needed to be there.
otherwise it will all fail. It will all come crumbling down around them.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason that it is like a time travel movie is that it's a prequel, and we know what happens after this.
Yeah, exactly.
Agreed.
So
It's very
Jin
cool.
kind of rallies the troops together and is like, "This is do or die, basically. Like we have to get these plans to the Death Star, and we have to get them to the Alliance." You know, so the plan is for all of the crew to kind of go place these bombs everywhere. What do you
Some
call
charges.
those things? Charges. Place the charges everywhere. Set them off to pull the stormtroopers out,
To distract them.
so they can engage the stormtroopers, and the other two can go in to
And they
get
have
it.
like a really and the whole movie K2SO's giving strategic
engine.
planning.
Oh,
like-
33%.
You're gonna die. This is a really bad chance. You are going to die. And this is like, there is no way you're gonna do it. And they totally do it. It's
Well, because they
fantastic.
don't have a choice, and that's what I really like about it. It's like, well, we
got
we
a
really don't have a choice, or
bad
else like we're
feeling
really
about this.
screwed. You know, so
Before they,
K2SO's funny in this.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
he's
really
very
like. He's
funny.
like, you have.
He's looking at all the other droids too, like, oh man, I was like that. Ooh.
before they completely infiltrate Scarif, though, we get a scene where Papa Krennic has to head on down to Daddy Darth Vader's planet on
Yeah.
Mustafar.
Where we pause
Yes.
because this is Emily's favorite scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, this is my favorite scene of the
Oh,
movie.
nice.
We
Did you
get-
like seeing him in the thing, like his goo?
Yeah, that was
His
pretty cool.
goo.
Yeah.
You get a nice like pan in of Mustafar.
Mustafar.
I love
And,
Mustafar.
and it literally looks like Mordor. Okay.
Yeah.
Basically,
You
yeah.
roll in and
One does not simply walk there.
No.
Well, I was also like, really, Darth Vader's still on Mustafar 20 years later. Like,
yeah.
That's
Get
where he
over
built
it.
his castle. This is his new hideout. This
I
is
know,
his new
but
house.
homie, like, you got burned by lava. You live in the lava.
This
you
is where
become the lava.
Anakin died and where Darth Vader was born.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's why
like,
he
I
hangs
chill
out there.
where I almost
I love
died.
Mustafar.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
So he's chilling there, and he's in his goo, in his
In
what
his
is it
chamber.
called? There's a name.
It's like
It's
his
called
chamber.
This
thingy.
hyperbaric chamber or whatever.
Bacta.
It's back to 10.
Bacta,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
So he's in his Bacta tank, and he's chilling, and then the guy comes in. He's like, Krennic's here, and he's like, oh, let me get my armor.
God,
He's like, are you serious? I'm in my Bacta.
I gotta put my face on.
He's like, I got my essential oils on,
I just exfoliated my face.
bro.
Whatever's left of it.
These burns ain't gonna heal themselves. Okay, gotta put on these oils.
So he puts on his stuff, and he comes out. I don't know why I think it's so funny. It's my, like, I think that's a problem.
Because
Dude,
Krennic's
the
being
way
a little,
Darth-
you
the-
know what?
Darth Vader was probably like the way I was growing up when, you know, relatives that I never met came over and they're like, hey, come say hi to you. You're like, dude, I don't even know them. I don't even care for them. I'm just going to stay here in my room.
That everyone
play
knows Darth
Xbox."
Vader.
I can imagine him behind the mask just being like, "I freaking
Especially
hate you."
because you just saw
Just-
one,
yeah,
two, three.
Just like, go home.
Leave me
Krennic,
alone.
go away.
I'm trying to breed and think about brood. I'm trying to brood and think about
trying to
Padme.
breed.
Okay.
I know. Every time I see him and he gets mad about stuff, I'm like, he's just still mad about Padme. Like, calm down,
Where
Darth.
is Padme? Is she all right?
No, bro, you
she
killed her.
alive?
No.
So
But anywho, I love this scene because Krennic is trying so hard to redeem himself, and
he needs to calm
he's
down.
like, I did not ask you here to grovel, and he's like, so I'm still in charge, Master, I'm still in charge.
It's like, no,
And he
I'm in
does
charge.
The first, quote unquote, the first on-screen
Force choke.
Yes.
and it's fantastic.
I,
because
as
he
soon as he
doesn't-
said that, I was like, you asked too much. Did you just ask, am I still in charge? Just get out before he freaking
Yeah.
force chokes you.
Ask for forgiveness.
He
See,
loves force choking.
If Darth Vader's not around all the time, I guess if he's hanging on Mustafar, you don't know how much he likes to choke people. Like
He
you
loves
don't know
choking
that
people.
if you're having a one-on-one meeting with Darth Vader, there's like a 75% chance you're getting choked.
More
at the end
than
of
that.
K2SO,
More than
look
that.
at this, okay?
He had no backup. I was like, you dead, homie.
it. There's nobody even to take your place right now, dude.
Dead, homie.
He doesn't have anybody to promote. You better watch yourself. So yeah, basically
That is a good scene,
Tarkin's
Emily.
already dead. Like, poor guy.
It's a very good
So,
scene.
I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, so
He's
Krennic.
basically like, get out of my sight.
Yeah,
Go.
Krennic gets choked out. He's like, oh, okay.
Didn't want to take this meeting
I
anyway.
guess I'm gonna do my job. I'm sorry, Darth Vader.
I'm
And
gonna go
he,
get back in my bed.
yeah, so he leaves off to go to Scarif where they are. And basically, as soon as Krennic arrives, is when they start to set off the charges and distract the stormtroopers.
He's like, are you guys blind? Go down on that beach and get it under
That was
control.
very funny.
Ben Mendelsohn is doing a really good job as being a bad guy in this movie.
Yeah,
I think
he
he's
does.
chewing up as much scenery as he possibly can.
So they're drawing out the stormtroopers. K2SO, Cassian, and Jin are going in undercover. And K2SO is like, okay, this is the vault we need to go to, but there are 89 stormtroopers in the way or something like that. So that's when they blow the charges, draw the stormtroopers out so they fight the stormtroopers so that they can get to the data vault. They get to the data vault. Luckily, there's only one dude there, so they could just knock that dude out, right?
Bonk with his fist.
Yeah.
But
It's like you finally got a blaster and you donked him on the head. Like, come on, K2.
But meanwhile, back where the Rebel Alliance base is, one of the whatever, just a rebel person, intercepts a thing
A
saying like,
message.
"Oh, there's rebels on Scarif" or whatever, and he goes to Mon Mothma and it's like, "There's rebels on Scarif," and she's like, "Ha let's go."
There were some rebels within the rebels, I see.
I see. Somebody
So-
was giving us hope.
So they send the troops out to follow.
and that's where homie comes in that Luis loves.
Yeah.
Which
Here comes
homie?
Fishy Gibble.
Oh, yeah.
She Gibble.
Admiral Raddus.
Admiral
And-
Raddus.
Okay, my favorite scene isn't quite there, so keep going.
Right. It's the space battle's a little bit later.
It's a little bit later, but this is the scene where they have to get the data thing, and they don't know what it's called, right? So they're just trying to look through all the data things.
That's our plans. That's our plans. That's our plans.
Black Saber.
Plans
Did
for
you hear
Death
that
Star.
one?
did the
Yes.
I was
Black
like,
Saber, yeah.
oh snap,
Yeah,
Black Saber.
they got a whole bunch of files on a whole bunch of stuff going
Yeah.
on in
Would
there.
have been funny if they found one that said the
Grogu.
Grogu.
which one Kessel Run.
Kessel Run.
Kessel Run.
Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be cool.
Yeah, so it's Stardust, and she's like, "That's the one." And Cassian's like, "How do you know?" And she's like, "Cause it's me. Like
Stardust
it's my
is me,
nickname."
dog.
You know, so
I'm the Death Star.
they use the things to try to get it, but this scene was actually made
Use the stone.
to destroy the stone.
Use the
Use the
gin.
stardust to destroy the stardust.
This was the first. This was the first death, right? Was K2SO?
Yes.
Was he the first one of the main
Yes,
to go?
yes. He's the first of the.
Ooh, and it was kind of sad too. I usually don't get sad when robots die because it's like a robot,
Yeah.
but it was sad.
He has to seal them in, seal Jin and Cassian into
'Cause
the
the stormtroopers
to the file room.
are going at
Stormtroopers
him.
have realized that there's been an infiltration.
But before that, like the stormtroopers come in and he's like, they're over there.
Like the worst.
Yeah, he's
droid
really doing a
acting
bad
ever.
job as acting as an Imperial droid, even though he is an Imperial droid.
Very funny.
Homie.
So he fights off all the stormtroopers that are coming at him to keep them away from
He's doing a good job.
getting to Jin and Cassian. And yes, he does a very good job. I believe he destroys all of them before he is
Gets destroyed.
shot to death, basically. Yes. So that's how K2SO.
He's like, climb. Climb.
Climb.
Fools.
And then there's
Climb.
like a definite Star Wars frickin' scene here
Mhm.
where they shoot out the glass
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they have to jump
Climb.
and climb, and I'm like, oh god, every time they're hanging on to something.
Yeah,
they
it's
gotta
always a
pull
ledge
it
of some
off,
sort.
Man,
oh,
there
But
are,
they managed to
so
get
that they
it.
don't fall to their doom.
yeah, there's no
So-
safety precautions in any of these places.
They get the data, but freaking Krennic shows up because another Imperial person was like, someone's in the data vault. And he was like, are you freaking serious? He's like, you two come with me. Let's go to the data vault. And he tries to shoot him down, and he does shoot Cassian
He
down.
shoots Cassian. He
So
falls
Cassian's
a
down
long way.
a very
Yeah,
long
there
way.
is no way.
Ca-
in real life,
Cassian is
that
down for the
Cassian,
count.
Like his back would have been so broken.
Oh yeah.
And Cassian, before this, was telling Bodhi, like,
How many
You
pillars did he
need-
hit? Like 3 or 4?
He hit like 3, I
Oh,
think.
no, he's done.
Cassian was telling Bodhi, you need to get this communication to the Rebel Alliance that they need to take down the shield because we cannot get the data from you until the shield is down. And all of this fighting scene, like just the space fighting with like, oh, what do they call each other? Like you blue, something
Red leader, blue
red
leader, gold
blue
leader.
Yeah.
So
all of that stuff was so good.
this was very cool because this was a case where they used old footage from episode 4 New Hope and superimposed it onto these fighters. And
So
so
good.
they do. I think it's Blue Leader, Gold Leader, and then Red 5.
Yeah.
Who are all directly from an older movie. And Red 5 in particular gets shot down in this movie, and then Luke Skywalker becomes Red 5 in the next one, which is very cool. But those other guys that are there, I think one of them, who the actor is still alive, so he came in to do some extra voice work for those scenes.
Pull up.
Yes,
And that
yes.
thing hit the shield. I was like, oh, you toasted. Toasted.
This was a really cool space battle.
Yeah, it was a very cool space battle.
And I'm usually
There was
not
the
so
one
big
part.
on them, like they're cool, but like they can go on a little long.
Did you like?
But this one was continually like the action.
Yeah.
I like when it was domino effecty, where
Yeah.
like this, like you were saying,
Yeah.
this happens, boom.
I think I screamed when like hundreds of the TIE fighters came out. Like
yeah.
it looked like bugs, didn't it? Like they
for
all
sure.
went, and I was like, no.
Well,
I
and
can't
yeah,
do-
like
can't do
that.
a
I
TIE fighter
really
sound.
wish that I liked the X-wings more, but like TIE
The
fighters
TIE
are
fighters
so much
look
cooler.
so much cooler.
TIE fighters
Yeah.
are way cooler.
The TIE fighters look so much cooler. And there was a lot of them.
yeah,
and
they
they
were
were like,
creepy.
uh-oh, engage the TIE fighters. I was like, nah, homie, I'd be out. Peace out. I'm
Bye-bye.
light speeding to Endor right now. Goodbye. Peace out.
Back to Edu.
We out. Yeah.
No, thank you.
So they're fighting it out up there. They eventually have to get that shield open.
They have to get the shield open.
in order for the plans to be transmitted through
And
the huge
the
satellite
data
receiver.
thingy. And Luis's homie general came in clutch, and he's like, I have an
Admiral
idea.
Raddus.
So they blew up one of the engines on the
Star Destroyer.
Star Destroyer.
Mhm.
Then they used one of the
One of their ships
the
to,
ships to
tiny
like
ship.
push it
to ram it.
into the other one, and it was like Titanic, where it was
that
like
was very cool.
It was cool. They ram a Star Destroyer into another Star Destroyer.
Yeah, and it was toast.
And those both come down
toast
to take out the shield, which is
It
pretty
reminded
dope.
me of the Finest Hour.
Yeah.
Oh, forget that movie. I
That was
loved
your
it, but
choice,
forget
bro.
it.
Toast, man. That was a cool scene.
That was a
So
very
shout
cool
out
scene.
to Admiral,
Raddus.
I keep wanting to say Akbar, Admiral Raddus there, because that was a good idea. So the shield is down, and that as
Star
soon,
Destroyers just go straight
But-
into that thing.
Yeah.
we should talk about the scene where they have to plug in the communication thing.
Yes. So
get
Bodhi
the message even
realizes
out there.
that in order to send the message up to the rebels in the first place, he's going to have to hook into their communications
Ugh.
tower. And so in order to do that,
Intense.
he has to take a long wire and hook it up to a panel. And,
And
then
he has to pause, literally Back to the Future it.
yes.
The whole time
Yeah.
I'm like, this is freaking Back to the Future.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
That's why it
he
reminds me of a time
does.
travel movie.
And he has to get
It's
it.
just
He
like that.
has to, or else they can't get the data.
So
They can't get the message.
he has to plug
Ugh.
that in, and then a master switch also has to be flipped. So Chirrut and Baze are over on like the other side of the battlefield, and they have to get
Everyone
to
at this
switch.
point, like the stormtroopers are kind of.
I mean, they're coming down
Yeah,
hard.
they're coming down hard. And honestly, Andre and I were saying it's a well-matched fight, because sometimes I would see a TIE fighter get blown up, and then like, oh, here comes two rebel ships, whoom, crashing in.
Yeah.
Like, it was very well matched. Like, nobody was really winning.
No.
Like, it was like
Stalemate.
it was a stalemate. And so they're trying to engage more people on the ground and on the sand, and there's like literally no way he's gonna be able to take this thing across. But he just decides to go for it, right? Doesn't he just run?
Yeah, Bodhi runs for it. He
Gets it plugged in.
He gets it plugged in. I believe he's about to be attacked. Like there are stormtroopers like, hey, identify yourself, because he's still in like an imperial
and they're
outfit.
taking him out. Like Shara and Baze or whatever is taking those people out.
Right. Yes.
He gets the message. He ties in. He says the message like do.
We're gonna send you
Boom.
Death Star plans, and
And
then
he's like, I did it. And then
a grenade is thrown into his ship. And
I was
and
like,
blows
well,
him up.
Bodhi barely got that.
Bye
there.
bye.
But then to turn on the master switch, they needed to turn on the master switch still to get the data up.
correct.
Oh,
So
Chirrut.
Chirrut, Imwe, and Baze Malbus, and they're
There was that one rebel was like, I'm going to do it. And he goes out, boom, like immediately
Yeah.
shot down. I was like, you're dumb.
they're cornered. They're trapped in a
He
corner.
got his 1 second of fame. Okay.
He tried. I mean, you can't fault him for trying.
One, the other main dude, I can't remember his name, but, you know, Cassian kind of had his, like, main rebels. They all died.
Right. yeah,
But there was one other dude who was kind of supposed to do it, and he died. And so then that dude was like, I'm going to do it. He died. So Shara and Baze are there, and they're like, well,
Chirrut is like guys, I got this. I can't see anything, but I'm gonna go out there.
But I'm one with the Force. The Force is with me.
I'm gonna find that switch. So he
Yeah.
says, I'm one with the Force. The Force is one with me. He
He's just
chants
walking.
this as he walks
And
through
Baze
gunfire.
is like, no,
and it's
Trevor."
awesome because
It's so good.
blasters are just whizzing by
And
his
there's
ears.
multiple. Is it like the Death Troopers too that are shooting at him? There's like
Uh-huh.
multiple troopers on the ground shooting at him, and they're not hitting him.
They're not hitting.
This
him.
homie is strong with the Force.
He's strong with the Force, and Death Troopers are bad shots. There's the two things are in play at the same time.
He could have done like one Matrix move, and I wouldn't have been mad about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Like just one.
Just one.
But like overall, it was a very good.
Yeah. That was like a
Um,
runner-up scene too.
that
I
was
really
good.
like that one.
Yeah, that might be my favorite scene.
That was
It's
cool.
not my favorite.
In the
I already
movie.
know what my favorite is.
So he goes over to the switch. He walks over there pretty seamlessly to it. He flips it,
And he gets shot
and
like
he
immediately.
and yes, he is summarily
And so
blasted.
Baze runs after him and is like holding him, and he's like, "It's okay, you'll always see me
Yeah.
with the Force or whatever." And then Baze finally
He's
says,
like, "You're the Timon to my Pumbaa."
I know.
And
"I'm one with the Force. The Force is with me." And Baze is like pissed, right? So he comes in with his guns. He's like, "Blah ta, blah ta, ta ta ta." He's like laying waste to all these stormtroopers, but then he dies too.
yes, he.
But I like all this.
Well,
I'm like, ooh, he's
Baze's
gone
Baze's
now,
death
too.
is really cool because he goes down on like a hail of
Fire.
bullet fire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
'cause-
like a blaze of glory for
yeah,
sure.
he's
Oh,
like a
for
tank,
sure.
and he's just shooting as much as humanly possible in order to
He
revenge his
reminded me
friend.
of Abraham on
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead. Yeah,
Yeah.
where it's just
He's cool. I
It's
like
pretty-
Baze.
It's pretty nuts.
But he goes down too.
So he goes down too. So we're left with
They get blown up.
with one person left, I guess. So Jin is back up at the top of the tower,
Ugh.
and she is trying to get these plans that are on her hip and into the satellite so that they can be uploaded to the cloud,
Realign antenna.
to the literal cloud. and
Realign antenna.
She has to realign the antenna.
Are you kidding me?
walk out on a very precarious bridge with, once again, no railings. There's no safety procedures going on in the Empire. That's how
I
they're
hate
saving
that.
money.
Realigns the antenna, but then one TIE fighter sees her and like tries to shoot her down,
Mhm.
and so then the bridge breaks.
Yeah.
She like messes herself up. She jumps across the bridge. She gets there. She's about to turn it on, but boom, Krennic is there.
Krennic
And
is
he's
there.
like,
Krennic.
"Haha, it's me, Krennic."
I'm still alive. You've lost.
And she's like, "Do you know who I am?" And "I'm Jyn Erso, daughter of Galen Erso." And he's like, "I don't
"Ah."
care. Your daddy's dead. I'm about to kill you too."
I'm about to pop one.
You know how many Ursos I've killed, homegirl?
He's
Okay?
literally about to shoot her, but lo and behold, Cassian shows up. I guess he's not
still
dead.
alive.
Shoots Krennic like in the shoulder, I think.
He
Something
has-
like
he-
knocks him
he
out.
incapacitates him.
He should have killed him, but he didn't. He just incapacitated him.
Incapacitates him, and then they are able to send the message off. So the plans have left Scarif. They are now with the Rebel Alliance.
They're uploading, and the General Akbar dude, Raddus, got the plans. He's like,
Mhm.
"Okay, we've got it. And the homie Tarkin is like, "Things are out of hand down there, so
Blow it up. You know what?
we're gonna blow it up."
I want to see the pretty lights again. Blow it up. Let's.
I liked that.
You know what?
Because the situation was out of control, and I think Tarkin or someone else.
done it like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
but-
Tarkin's like, "Well, who's gonna take care of the rebels?" And he's like, "Yeah, Darth Vader will take care of those. I gotta go shoot this place down."
Alexa,
And,
turn the Death Star to 55%. Okay, let's pop this bad
yeah, but
boy.
he hit the water like way far out. I'm like, you didn't even hit the direct spot you were supposed to hit. So it takes forever to travel as like Jyn and Cassian are going down to the beach to hug it out before they die.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, that took a long time to get there because you missed. You were way out in the water.
They hit the very top of the
Yeah,
the
the
tower.
top of the
they
tower.
hit the
Yeah.
the antenna.
Too
which
late.
is-
That
which is
data was
cool.
already uploaded.
It's already gone, baby. Already out there. And once again, the Empire does not even know that there is a fatal flaw in the Death Star.
They don't.
That Galen
Well, and
put
now
in.
they really don't because they also kill Krennic right here.
Mm-hmm.
Tarkin's like, "Whatever, Krennic, you can go."
And that's the cool thing about Krennic being left alive by Cassian is that he gets to look up and see the Death Star right
He's
in his
like,
face.
"Are you kidding me?"
He's like,
And he's like,
"Ah,
okay."
man, this is supposed to be my Death Star. Wham.
Wah.
Kind of is his
Yeah,
Death
he gets
Star.
one final wham before the Death Star shoots him in the face.
So basically, then Jyn and Cassian die. So like all the main characters are dead. They did what they needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
It was very like wow, that was cool to me. Like that was enough for me.
Yeah.
But then we forgot that homie Tarkin said Darth Vader was gonna take
So
care.
now the main character of the movie for these last 5 minutes is now these Death Star plans. They're in
Yeah.
a rebel's hand, and we follow follow the plans as they get to.
So
get through
yeah,
the
the
rebels.
general gives him to this one. Is like, go get these to Organa or whatever,
Yes.
something. Go get them to somewhere safer. Like, homie, why didn't you make 10 copies right then? What is wrong with you?
Copy that
One
disc,
copy.
bro.
There's one
It's
copy.
a floppy disk, Michelle. You know
Yeah.
how long it
And
takes to get
this-
It's like 8 megabytes, dude.
Is my favorite scene because the music stops. You just hear the siren, boo, 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 and then you hear.
Yeah. No.
And I remember when we were in the theater that everybody was basically, you can bleep me, everybody was basically like out loud. Like there was like an immediate gasp from the whole audience
Yeah.
and everyone was like, what?
This
And I
scene-
didn't know we were really going to see Vader
Do it.
mess it up like he did. And this is hands down my favorite scene that when we were watching the movie the other day, I rewound it
Yeah, we watched it
and
a
then
couple
watched that
times.
again. And then I rewound it to watch it again because he is laying waste.
They do a pretty good trick of like making you forget that Darth Vader is in this movie, even though he shows up, I believe, 2 or 3 times
because
before
you're
this
thinking
scene.
about the other stuff. And
Yes.
so then there was just like a side comment of like Vader will go take care of
Vader will take care of the fleet.
the fleet or whatever.
Mhm.
But no, Vader was taking care
Prepare
of
a
the
boarding
fleet.
party.
And this was my favorite scene because it was shot so well. So like they see Vader and I'm like, well, y'all are dead. Like right now, you're dead. Like
I
there's
literally
no
was like,
way.
isn't this the beginning of the 4th movie?
Yes.
Like, is
Wow.
this not the exact same scene?
It is.
absolutely
It's
is.
beautiful because it was, like you said, I haven't seen the 4th movie since we did it last year.
Mhm.
It's the same
But
scene.
when I watch it tomorrow, it's gonna
Yeah.
feel so seamless.
It's gonna
Yes.
feel really
because
seamlessly.
it seemed like the exact same.
It
scene.
is, but it's just because the technology is so much more now, and the way that they did it, where they cut the music, you hear the breath, and then the lightsaber comes up because they have more technology now, and just the look on all of the rebels' faces, I'm like, yeah, homies, you gone.
Yeah.
It's-
So they're
nice
passing
try.
the plants, like he's like force choke, blast, you're in half. And they're like, help me! Like one is like help, like screaming through the thing. I'm like, they ain't no help, homie. Like you're gone.
Yes,
that is
it's
Vader.
over.
Throw
It-
the plan.
He is the chosen one.
It's very cool because
It's a pass off. It's like a what do they
Baton
call those?
race.
A baton race.
yeah, it's a baton race, and they are very narrowly getting to the finish
I'll watch
line.
that scene again right now. Put
But
it on
this
because
scene
it's epic.
is fascinating because it can kind of only exist because it's been 30 or so years since the original trilogy of Star Wars, right? Because the kids growing up who saw that original trilogy saw Darth Vader as the scariest villain of all time.
Well, he's way scarier
He-
now.
He's very scary in those movies, especially if you watch them as a kid,
Yeah.
right? So growing up, this director Gareth Edwards is like, Darth Vader is scary. Darth Vader is scary. So when he gets the chance to make a movie in the script, Darth Vader is scary, and they shoot it like a horror scene.
Oh,
and
it's so
his red
good.
lightsaber lights him up in the darkness, and then he just tears through these dudes.
Dude, he's
with
chopping them in
the
half.
power of the dark
Force choking
side.
them.
And I'm
I was like, they're toast.
And it's
Toast.
so.
I had
like,
never been so more scared of Darth Vader as in this scene. Like
Right.
he's cool in the original ones, but the technology's a little outdated and so. But in this scene, I was like, oh man.
And it's also a cool evolution because we have seen Anakin, kicking a whole bunch of butt as
and
a
Anakin's scary
baby,
at the end.
young
like,
baby Darth Vader or whatever. But he's got a blue lightsaber.
This is
He's
20
got
years later.
skin and arms and stuff. It's like who's scary, Not saying
And he's
scary.
way more in touch with the dark side now. 20 years later,
Yes.
I like that
homie
he
is.
doesn't move really.
He
No.
makes it
Like,
look
all
so
he
easy.
does is just like the lightsaber's moving, but his body's not
He
moving.
is
kinda
He
cool.
doesn't
a
have
robot,
to do anything.
you know?
He's so in tune with the dark side of the Force.
He's more machine than man.
And I kept saying in the scene, I was like,
practically
man, he's
Grievous.
still so. Every time he chokes somebody, I think he's thinking about Padme, like Padme. Like when he chokes them, I'm like, oh, he's
Having,
choking
like,
another
a
one.
Tourette's moment.
Yeah, literally, because he's so dramatic, right?
That gave me a
But-
neck spasm.
Man, they barely get the plans on that other little tiny ship,
Mm-hmm.
and it pulls away, and Darth Vader's just standing there with his lightsaber, like, I killed all these homies, and I didn't get these plans. Freaking Darth Sidious is gonna be so pissed at me, right?
Oh man,
And
my
who
boss.
who do we see holding the plans? Dun, 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 dun. Well, we see it shoots to like C-3PO and R2-D2, and then it turns and it's Leia,
It's Princess
which we
Leia.
know she does have the plans in the fourth one, and then it cuts. So when you start episode 4 tomorrow, Emily, you're going to be like, whoa. It's like seamless.
Yeah.
It's so seamless.
It's a very seamless transition and a wonderful end to this movie.
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect end. It was all I needed.
Like, even if we're saying like the beginning of this movie isn't that great, it's not that exciting, it's not that thrilling, they absolutely nailed the landing of this movie.
Yeah.
The end
It's like
of
you
it
see
is
Leia's face
beautiful.
and she has the plants, and then it's like
Movie is over. Here are the credits. They're all in blue.
So yeah, I always rewind that last I think it's like the last 7 minutes. I always rewind it like 3 times every time I watch this movie because I love it so much. And the reason I love it so much too, and it hits me more now, is because 2 years ago when Disneyland was still open, we went to downtown Disney and we did this Void experience, which was like
It's a VR.
VR thing.
VR maze. that you
Right,
can
and
run
it
through.
was a Star Wars one, and you're on Mustafar, and you're a rebel, but you're in a stormtrooper suit, and you're shooting these things down. But at the very end of it, it's kind of like that scene where all of a sudden Darth Vader shows up, and the way, because it's VR, but it's like interactive to like 4D, they like make it literally feel like he's moving you with the Force, and I think we both went,
Very cool.
"Ah!" like as soon as he showed up on the screen. So it makes me feel exactly like this movie, where I'm like terrified of Darth Vader now.
We were in this experience with
We
2
didn't
other
win.
strangers,
He shot
right?
us down.
We
but,
were in this
yeah.
experience with
and
another
they did
couple.
the same thing. I remember we were done. They were like, "Oh shit." Like,
Stop
what?
it.
Sorry. But it was like that intense. We're like, Darth Vader's terrifying.
When we saw Darth Vader, we all freaked out in the exact same manner, which I think speaks to how scary of a villain he actually
yeah.
is.
Well,
Which
and
is funny
you could
too, because
feel
I don't
it in
think
your
I've
soul.
ever seen Darth Vader in the parks, but I've seen Kylo Ren,
Mhm.
and he scared me.
Oh.
But I
Right.
feel like Darth would be even scarier now.
Kylo Ren's terrifying. It's
Yeah.
like some 6'4" dude, and just the way I remember when we
The
saw
mask
him,
is
I was
scarier,
like,
I
And, then and he says creepy stuff too.
yeah.
He's like, "I can feel you."
Shut up.
Josh, back up. Back up.
Yeah,
Josh
we've seen them both at the parks,
Josh.
and Kylo Ren was scarier for some reason. I don't know why, but it like irked me to my core. But the reason I love this movie so much is just because I love a good setup. Like, I love a seamless setup, a good setup, and I love something where everything that happened had to happen that way. There's no what if this happened, because if anything else had happened, nothing would have worked. Like, so whoever wrote it that last hour, whatever, they did a really good job of thinking it out. Like, there was no plot holes for me. There was no loopholes. There was no what if this happened, what if this happened. If what if anything, then there would be no 4, 5, 6. Like,
Okay, so we know mine and yours favorite scenes. Andre, what's your favorite scene? The chariot scene?
Well, I had said the cheered scene when he was walking through
but you
the hail
forgot
of
about
bullets,
the Darth scene.
but I did forget about Darth
Yeah.
Vader, and
Oh, yeah.
that just has to be. I mean, it's
Epic.
I like that scene more than most Star Wars
scenes.
movies. You
It's
know?
my favorite Star Wars scene out of any movie, hands down.
Which and I
it's
agree
really
with
high up
you
there.
because the 2 Darth scenes in this movie
Mhm.
are my 2 favorite. Like, they're very
There's
good.
some good Darth Vader
Yeah.
stuff in this movie.
Indeed.
I agree with that. What
What
about
about you, Lou?
you, Luis?
Favorite scene.
You have to.
My favorite scene actually was the one where the dude, little Gibble commander, gets the ship
Mm-hmm.
and literally gets like the little barge that you'd get in the dock to bring in the ships. He literally gets that ship to freaking
Crash
ram
into
it
the other one.
The other one.
Yeah.
That was.
That
the
is
best in my
epic.
opinion.
It's
The
so
Star
cool.
Destroyer into the Star Destroyer into the
To
side
destroy
of
the
thing.
Star.
Yeah.
I use the Star Destroyer.
to destroy
to
the
destroy
Star
the Star
Destroyer.
Destroyer.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
The stars were
Literally-
destroyed.
Literally so epic.
Yeah.
So, babe, did people like this movie?
Uh,
Or is it just me?
No, it was
It
not.
can't be just me,
it was
right?
not just you. This movie was received pretty well at the time. This movie has an 84% on Rotten Tomatoes.
What did the other Star Wars movies
Ooh,
have?
good question. Let me see here.
And don't include Solo because I know nobody liked it but me.
Well, yeah, I
I
would.
like Solo Bub.
I would say that Solo's Rotten Tomatoes rating is probably not super duper high. But let's see here. Let me go from the beginning here. So episode 1. Where's episode 1? Okay.
Yeah, but 1,
episode
2,
one's
and
not-
3 are.
Right. Okay. So, and where's 4, 5, and 6? Bro, why is this list so short? Okay, hang on. I have to search individual.
Sorry, did I ask a bad question?
Oh, wait. There's franchises.
I can talk about Easter eggs while you do that if you want.
Sure. Let's jump into those.
Okay. So, I'm going to kind of go over them quickly because a lot of them we talked about. Some of them are very obvious where they're not even really Easter eggs. They're more like, yes.
Mm-hmm.
We saw them. We know what it is. But, oh no, I lost them. Andre, all of your TikToks are popping up right now.
Oh no, I've been sending out some vids.
I'm very
to
upset.
the crew.
Okay. So, Easter eggs. Let's go. So, the first one
Huevos
is...
de Pascua.
Yes. The first one is there was a huge jug of blue milk
Yeah.
at Jin's house
Yes.
in the first scene.
Mm-hmm.
Gross.
Yavin 4
Yes.
is a call forward.
It's a call forward, yes.
Call forward to the rebel
It's the rebel
lair,
base.
right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know it in A New Hope. Bail Organa is his own
His own
egg,
Easter
I
egg.
suppose.
Yes.
He there.
Because he reprises his role from
He's
the prequels.
Leia's
Yes.
adopted father.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of the article says, "Don't get too attached to him, though. Alderaan gets blown up in A New Hope.
Yeah. About 40 minutes from now,
He gonna die.
He dead.
Yeah, literally. Like 40 minutes from now.
Grand Moff Tark, he is also his own.
He's
Easter
Tarkin.
egg.
He's
Yep.
there. He and their Tarkin.
Our boy Tarkin, Ponda Baba and Evazan. I
Ponda
didn't
Baba.
know they had I didn't know they had names, but the two dudes that Cassian Andor and Jin meet on Jeddah when they're walking through the Jeddah
Right.
streets.
Yes.
The two bum dudes
They're
that
from
they meet.
They're from the Mos Eisley Cantina
Yeah.
in episode 4.
Yes, exactly. So
My friend doesn't like you.
yes,
I don't like you either. And then Obi-Wan cuts off his hand.
Yeah.
The dude has a
A butt
male
chin?
genitalia as a chin.
Pretty much.
Ew.
So those two guys are from the Cantina scene. The Wills are their
Wills.
own thing, like Andre
Mhm.
talked about earlier.
Mhm.
They're apparently the ones who helped Qui-Gon Jinn achieve like this eternal life thing.
Okay, I don't think I knew that.
But that I think is from one of the other
It's from extended
extended stuff.
stuff, yeah.
Same thing with Saw Gerrera. I think you talked about it as well. Saw Gerrera was really big in the Clone Wars
Mhm.
and in the other one. What was the other one called?
Rebels.
Rebels. So, like you said, this is like his final appearance,
Right.
but he was a really big character coming up into this part. Mustafar on its own is an
Yeah.
Easter egg,
I
right?
love
Because we saw him
Mustafar.
One of my favorite planets.
planet,
He's like, now I have the high ground.
right?
Because I live here.
In the highest
Shut up,
part of
homie.
Mordor. We know about the Bacta
Back to tank.
Mhm.
tank,
Mm-hmm.
well, or at least the Bacta stuff, because
Yeah.
Luke is in part of it
In episode 5.
in episode
He
5,
gets
The
hurt
Empire Strikes
early.
Back.
Has
Yeah,
to-
when he gets his
has
hand
to
chopped
tank
off.
it up.
This
Poor his
one
daddy.
is a little. Aw. This one's a little bit more Easter eggy, I would say. When they're on Scarif, the Imperial stormtroopers are kind of just talking back and forth,
Mhm.
and they mention the
The
T-15s,
Mhm.
which was like a hyperdrive generator that they talked about in the video game tie-in for Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, which I
Yeah.
feel like is a little ridiculous.
It's
but whatever.
it's a deep cut, but
You know,
Sometimes
Star
you gotta do it.
Wars.
Star Wars fans are here for it.
Yeah.
Andre's
Every
here for it,
character has a name, no matter how small it is.
Yeah,
which I kind of like.
which is cool.
Obviously, C-3PO and R2-D2 are their
Mhm.
own.
They show up.
The red and gold leaders, like Andre already
Mhm.
talked about.
I like that. I
they
like that one a lot.
superimposed
Mhm.
old footage, which is actually really cool.
Very cool.
They originally thought that they were CGI recreations when the movie first came
Mhm.
out, but then they confirmed later,
And now we
that-
pull footage, baby.
which I like.
Dressed it up.
This one I thought was really cool, and I didn't really believe it. I went back and watched, and I was like, ooh, yeah. So apparently in A New Hope, they show a graphic of the Death Star.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
And it is
Yeah.
a, like,
Like a hologram.
a hologram, and it's an incorrect, it's like a visual error of
Mhm.
the Death Star, because they show the circular depression of where the laser comes out
On
right
the other
in the
side.
center of the Death
Mm.
Star. And we know that it's up in like the northern part of it,
It's,
Right.
it's to the side, yeah.
but it's on the top.
It's on the top.
It's not
It's on
in
the
the
top
middle.
half
Mhm.
of
Yes.
the Death Star.
So they showed that visual in A New Hope, but they showed the exact same visual in this movie for like, you
like
know,
when the data was being uploaded.
right. So it's the same data
Sure.
that was given.
It's
which
the
I kinda
same
like it.
same error.
Yeah.
They were like,
Yeah.
we got to make that error again.
So I kind of like
It's a previous design of the Death Star. Whatever. You just got to find the hole, shoot it.
Find the whole shoot.
It's trickery.
And then what else? Obviously Carrie Fisher doing her Carrie
Yeah.
Yes.
CGI.
Like I said,
reprise.
that one didn't bug me because it was like literally 4 seconds.
It was very
I
short.
was like, all right, that's
She says one line.
it was enough.
Yeah. Her face didn't bother me at all. Again, if they really wanted to do it, they could have just done a backwards part of her because she's so iconic as well.
Could have just saw them buns.
Just saw them buns, you would have been like, and I ain't talking about booty
them top buns, not the
top
bottom
buns.
buns.
Yeah.
I mean, I
No,
can see
show me the bottom
Either
buns.
buns.
From the
I'll
back.
take a
Even the
look.
white
Both
dress, I
buns.
would have been like, oh,
For
it's her.
sure.
Right.
And you see C-3PO and R2-D2 right there. It's
Right.
it's pretty obvious. But either way, I thought those were all pretty cool Easter eggs. And because this is such a crazy franchise now, it almost feels like everything is
an Easter egg.
Is
Yeah.
an Easter egg because it's all a precursor.
Yeah.
It
And
all
every
ties
single
in.
time I go back and rewatch an episode, I learn so much more where I'm like, oh, yeah. Or now that we're watching Mandalorian, I can relate things better.
Yeah.
You know? So it was so funny because you guys were watching episode 1, 2, 3 after we did the Mandalorian season 2, which is exactly what Andre and I did, and things were clicking for me. And as you were texting me, I was like, babe, things are clicking for her.
clicking
Well,
the
and
same.
Like they're
funny
clicking
because-
in her brain.
Well, when we, again, if you went back and listened to our Crack in the Vault episode about The Mandalorian Season 2, I was having an extremely hard time with the timeline because in my mind, the armorer in the first season made it sound like the Jedi were this order of sorcerers that happened thousands and eons ago.
But that's some Sidious propaganda, too.
Yes.
That's
Correct.
true. But
Like
in my
being-
brain, I like warped it to think that the Mandalorian was happening centuries in the future
Yeah.
from this
Yeah.
timeline. So then I was like, what in the world? What do you mean, Bob? It was just very hard for
It
me
was
to
confusing.
understand.
Yeah.
And then when Luke showed up, I'm like, what? is
But now
this?
it makes a little more sense. Too.
Yes. So now it makes sense, and now I'm okay with it all.
And
Yes,
it's
it
also we meant to tell you that too. That's like some Sidious propaganda. Like after Order 66, he was like convincing everybody like there's no Jedi,
Jedi
like they're
aren't
an
real.
ancient thing.
They
They're
were
not
just
real.
tricksters. None of them
So it was
had
like a
force powers.
propaganda going on. So that's why people are like, oh, the Jedi are this ancient
It's
thing.
memology.
You know.
Yeesh.
So I'll go ahead.
Oh wait. Let me run through some of these
Oh, money.
Rotten Tomatoes scores.
So sorry, I was ready to give my rating.
Yeah. So starting, I'll go quickly through these, right? So
Okay.
the first Star Wars, Episode 4, A New Hope, which came out in 1977, had a 92%. Empire Strikes Back, the one right after that, has a 94%. And then Return of the Jedi has an 82%
Oh wow.
on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
We switch over to the prequels, and Episode 1 has a 52%.
Yeah, people did
on
not
Rotten
like
Tomatoes.
stupid. People hated Jar Jar.
Episode-
All the
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. Episode 2 has a
It was
65%.
trouble falling asleep during the pod racing too.
And then episode
Yeah.
3.
It was a long race. And then Episode 3 has
Jabba
a
did fall asleep during it, you're right.
Episode 3 has an 80% on Rotten
yeah.
Tomatoes.
Yeah.
And then if we jump
I'm not
to
disagreeing with those scores.
They're not bad. I'm still gonna watch them,
It
but
gets better though.
I
Yeah.
know why they
Well,
gave it a 50 something.
it still manages to go
can't
up
have
and
23 minutes of pod
up
racing.
and down because we go to Star Wars 7, The Force Awakens, that has a 92%. This movie we're talking about, Rogue One, has an 84%.
Not bad.
And then Star Wars The Last Jedi, number 8, has a 90%. Solo, a Star
Don't
Wars
agree with that.
Yeah, Solo, a Star Wars story, has a 69%. And then Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, Episode 9, has a 51%. So
See, I
Which
think
is my
it's a
least-
roller coaster,
it's
baby.
so funny, but that's not the last episode. 8 is not my least favorite episode.
9.
And episode 9 is not my least favorite. Episode 8 is.
Ah, gotcha.
And
Is
that
that-
one has
which
a
one-
90.
Which one is the one with the most Mark Hamill?
It's the
Episode
episode
eight.
8.
The
Okay,
Last
that
Jedi.
one's my least favorite.
that
The
has
Last
a
Jedi.
that has a 42% audience score.
Yeah, people did not like that.
Whereas The Rise
Although
of
critics
Skywalker,
gave it a 90, people were like, no.
whereas The Rise of Skywalker has an 86% audience score.
Which
so
I'm
they're-
going to tell
they're
you right
completely
now that I
flip-flopped.
do plan to continue watching, and so
Yeah, we are
listeners,
too.
So guess what? You're
Guess
along
what?
for the ride as
Over
well.
the next couple months, we're going to be throwing in a little here, a little there, a little what for the Star Wars Warsies in you.
Yeah.
You know, and if
Especially
you're
'cause you
not
can't
into
see
it,
Star Wars land.
if you're not into it right now, it ain't no time like the present. Get on it.
Jump on
you got
in.
that Disney Plus. There's a whole Star Wars section. You can watch it all. It's
Indeed.
at your disposal. Do it.
Do it.
She said all of that
Do it.
just so she could say,
Do it.
I say that all the time. Like it's
no,
ridiculous.
but you wanted a good in on the podcast.
Yeah, that was pretty
Always.
good. It's pretty good. I'll also
Can we-
mention that this movie had a budget of $200 to $265 million, and a worldwide box office return of $1.056 billion.
Work it.
That's what Star Wars does, baby.
It makes money. We out here making
Makes
money.
us shmoney.
Hand over fist over robot fist over robot hand.
I'm gonna rate this movie.
Over Grievous.
Over
Luke's
Grievous.
hand.
over Grievous arm.
I'm gonna rate this movie an 8.5.
Hmm?
The last 55 minutes, 10 out of 10 would recommend. But I have to rate the movie as a whole, and it is a B average because it was slow at the beginning. And I would give it an 8, but I'm giving it a 0.5 because that last hour, like, redeemed it.
Sure.
You know, so it wasn't cohesive to me, but still really good. I love it. 8.5 is a solid score, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Luis?
Your rating for Rogue
Go
One.
ahead, bro.
Solid 8.
8.
Mm-hmm.
I like
Okay.
the. You guys talked about how like it was disjointed. I didn't see that.
I didn't feel it that much either.
But also too I love that drama stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm literally over here watching, Fear the Walking Dead, and they're literally just drama looking for each other, like out in the middle of a big old field, just like Marco Poloing each other. And I'm just like on the edge of my seat. I'm like, oh. So
You like
that
the
first half
suspense.
wasn't bad for me at all. I like that type of stuff, I had a big gripe with the fact that Gail Ursul's making this poor cargo pilot dude seem like he's the worst piece of
Yeah.
manure ever alive, and he needs to defect and do something with his life, like homie General Gibble was the smack though.
General Gibble.
I love
the
that
building.
guy. He is awesome. Literally, like
Luis is getting
like
his,
if I had to pick, if I
words
had to
from his
pick,
student
know,
film.
if I had to pick like a tag team dude to go up against like the Undertaker and Kane,
Uh-huh.
it'd be homie
It'd be
Gibble,
Raddus.
man.
Homie
It'd be
Gibble,
let's
dude.
do this. I
Homie
got an
Gibble.
idea.
Let's go.
I got an idea.
Let's go.
Might be crazy, but we got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8.
Yeah, he was dope. Okay.
Very good. Emily?
That was very passionate, Luis.
He's very passionate.
I'm gonna give it an 8.5. Also,
8.5.
while the more we talk about it, I don't know if I would call the movie disjointed, because I think that, like you said earlier, the drama, the suspense, and the storyline were important
Yeah.
to
Mm.
make everything else make sense.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like the execution could have been different to make me care more.
Sure. Yes.
Because
I agree with that statement.
especially because we know what happens down the road.
yeah.
Like, if I know what happens, then the suspense is not as important. Like I already know
Right.
that, like, they're going to destroy the Death Star. So, like, I
Yes.
need to care about this now for
Yeah.
this
And
movie
about
to
these
have
people.
a lot of importance for me.
Yeah.
And I just did not care what happened to Jen Orso. Like, when she
Mm.
died, I was like, sorry, girl.
I was
bye.
like, sorry, thank you. Your
I was
life
like,
was
Diego
for
Luna,
the Rebel
you
Alliance.
and your really awful, like, accent in this movie. I don't know. Just bye.
I was happy that they let him do that accent in this. Cause it's like we just watched that other thing about Bill Burr on The Mandalorian, and people complaining about him having like a Boston accent.
They were
Like, you
mad
can't have a
that
Boston accent
he
in
had-
space, and it's
I
like,
was like, really? You can have an accent in space? Freaking Han Solo is speaking English to Chewbacca, and they understand each other. Like, there's no rules in Star Wars about language.
right.
You
So
can have a Boston
so it
accent
seems
if you want.
perfectly
homie.
fine that he can have a Hispanic accent.
But I think the reason that I don't like it, and we've talked about this before, but Luis and I watch obviously too much TV, and we watch him speaking his native Spanish
Mhm.
in the Narcos Mexico TV show, and to hear him speak Spanish with the accent, and then going back and forth between his English with the Spanish. I don't know. It just sounds so much different.
Threw you off,
so to hear him talking here, I was like, it almost sounded like he was trying not to have a. I don't know.
Oh, like he was trying not to have an accent, but
probably
the
just
accent was
threw
still
you- it
coming
probably
through
threw
heavily.
you off,
That's
yeah.
I don't
that's
know. I was
funny.
like,
That's interesting. Yeah, I think because we haven't watched Narcos, I haven't seen him in anything else, Diego Luna. I mean, I like him a lot in this, but this is the only performance that I can,
I remember really
rate
liking
on.
him the first time I saw it, so I don't want to discount it.
Sure.
Because I remember liking him the first time.
Andre, what are you gonna give this movie?
I wanted to give it a 9.
Then give it a 9.
And I still will give it a 9. Yeah, I'm gonna give this movie
Do
9
what
out
you
of 10
want.
because as much as you guys are saying that it starts off a little slow and it doesn't pick up until Act 3, which I agree with, but I don't feel like those slow moments in the beginning are boring to me. But that might just be the Star Wars fan in me, because I'm super hyped when I see Saw Gerrera anywhere, and I'm super hyped to see all of these characters come together, specifically K2SO being there. I think all of his funny lines come in those first 2 acts of the movie. And then
He becomes a little obsolete near the end.
Right,
When he dies,
yeah.
I'm very sad.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that the ending brings this movie together so well that, like, between all of the deaths and the succession of the mission and Darth Vader getting his due, it really comes together as one of the coolest Star Wars movies since Disney has bought them, for sure. For sure.
It's still my favorite. Like, I love it, even though I probably give it a lower score than some of the other ones. But I freaking love this movie, dude.
Yeah.
So good. You're welcome.
You're welcome. You're welcome to all ya. So that's been it for this week's episode of Rogue One. Next week, we are going in a completely different direction.
Yeah,
We're going to be visiting.
that's for sure.
We're going to be.
Going to Diego Luna Town.
We're going to be visiting the 1977.
No, Luis, we're not. Ooh, he just gave me a dirty look.
It's the 1977 animated film, The Three Caballeros.
I've never seen it.
We're going to Bahia.
I have never seen it either. But I know these homies.
Well, one of the 3 caballeros is Mexican.
It's Donald, and then there's the green one and the red one.
Jose and
Pancho.
Panchito.
That's right.
Panchito. Pacho.
Panchito, yes.
Pretty much.
I'm
So-
like, I know it's something.
Pacho is on Narcos.
So we're gonna slow it down for a somewhat smaller movie next week. In the meantime, you can keep up with us on social media. We are at the Walt Vault Pod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can subscribe to the show. Make sure you're subscribed. That'll keep new episodes coming to you every week. Leave us a review or a rating. 5 stars is my favorite amount of stars, but put whatever you want on there. And do leave us a review. Those help us get the show seen to other people's out there, other podcast listeners. We appreciate those. And if you want to support us more, you can go to patreon.com/The Walt Vault. Sign up there. We give you some extra content. Last week we did a Mandalorian Season 2 review. We reviewed the whole season in a 2-hour episode or something like that.
Really long.
It was
really
quite some
long.
time, but this one is inching ever closer to that same time length. So
Before you stop, I would like to say that we love it when you guys give us suggestions for movies to
Yes,
do.
good.
Luis, can you turn that down? Now he's playing. Ooh, now he yelled at
he
me.
was gonna do it. Good thing he
watching
didn't have his
Prequels
mic.
more. Right. Anywho, I would like to give a shout out to one of our listeners
Shout out.
at Blue Phoenix 4989. They said, "Hey, y'all need to watch The Princess Bride," and we don't disagree with you.
Yes.
It is on the docket. It's
on
not
the
on
list.
the docket.
We don't
for
know
this
when,
month.
but it's coming.
It is not
It's not
original.
It's a
original.
Fox one,
Luis.
Luis. Yeah.
Yeah.
It actually might be my birthday month one because I am a huge
Ooh.
Princess Bride
I
fan.
love Princess Bride. I
It's-
wanted to watch it the other day, and Andre said not yet because we're going to do it eventually.
Right.
I was like, that's the rule now?
I mean,
It kind
that's,
of is
that's
like
my
the
rule.
unspoken
Yeah,
rule. Like,
it
I'm not
is.
going to watch it unless
Although
I have to-
that's
And
not,
also, I
that's
think
not the rule for Star
I think
Wars
we got a
movies.
lot of good feedback. One of my coworkers listens to our podcast, Yesenia, and she was like, "I'm so happy you guys did Anastasia because I love Anastasia." And she said her husband got her like the jewelry box for the
Together in Paris.
no, not the necklace.
Sure, but the box.
The box, like
Music
for
box. Mhm.
for Christmas for her, and she was like, "Oh, I was so happy you guys did it, even though it's not Disney." So it seems like Fox is acceptable.
I And it's
for
on
us to
Disney
review.
Plus. Disney paid for it. We
If
might
it's
as well
on Disney
review it.
Plus, I'm reviewing it. That's the thing.
That is the new rule.
That's the new rule.
Yes.
not, man?
So keep in touch with us. We will be reviewing many more movies. I want to keep hearing your suggestions for.
And you want to know how I honestly feel about it? Is that without Disney Plus, the Walt Vault could have had an end date.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very possible. We were
we
running
don't-
out of movies.
We're gonna do what the Walt Vault's gonna do, and you might as well tell us what you want.
Right.
And
Let
if
us
you
know
don't
now.
want it, then don't listen.
Yeah.
Wow, that was really aggressive of me. But it's true.
It's-
Disney
it's-
Plus be opening the doors to this podcast.
It's
Yeah,
very
it's true.
correct. I'm
it's kind of made for us.
I'm very excited for all the new types of movies that we can
And WandaVision.
we can
I'm
watch.
so
That's right. Which I
excited.
still haven't
Oh
watched.
yeah, I know.
Have you watched it?
As of
No,
our
we
recording
didn't.
date.
But
No, we
Andre
haven't.
was like,
either.
"Can we watch it tonight?" And I was like, "Are we gonna play villains? I don't know."
I don't know. Who knows what'll happen after this episode
You
ends?
want to know that they did episode 1 and 2?
That's right. There
I
are
know,
2
they
episodes
let
of,
2 out.
of WandaVision available.
Yeah.
So keep on the lookout for that as well. We will be eventually reviewing WandaVision in some form, either a couple episodes at a
Or
time
maybe at the end,
or the
like
entire
how we
season.
did.
Yes.
Yeah, who knows?
So we shall see. Keep in
Do you
touch.
want a 2-hour episode
Right,
of
yeah.
WandaVision? Because
you
we
might
did
if it's good. I don't know.
we did a 2 freaking Mandalorian.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mando
it
one.
was good, man.
Yeah, so keep in touch with us. We are at the Walt Vault
Baby
Pod
Yoda,
on
baby,
everything,
baby
y'all.
Yoda.
Send an email to contact@thewaltvaultpod.com. We'll read that message on the show. And I think that's been it for this week. You guys, we will see you next time for some 3 Caballeros goodness. The Vault is now